don't know. Hi everyone, right now we are here to watch Nihal Sarin's game and Sagar is soon going to join us in 5 minutes. So, everybody, hi to all of you. You will have to help me because I am following Nihal Sarin but I am not able to see his game. So, please, whoever is there, Rakshit, hi there, Alapin on the board, that's what you're saying. Can you send me the link of the game? Going to be a very exciting match. And in 5 minutes, we are gonna have Sagar here. Just a moment. Please do share the link where I can follow. I'm trying to follow Nihal Sarin, but somehow I'm not understanding why it is still showing Sagar Raina here. I'm very much confused. Go to chess.com. Yes, I went to events. Oops, what another login? Wait, I have to go to events here. Maybe watch. Yes, this is the championship which is happening. But how do I see the games here? Ha, Nihal. Okay, I got it. Thanks. There we are. Let me see. Let me just adjust a little bit the screen so that you are able to see the time and everything properly. Okay, that seems fine. What we have on the screen, not so bad. And once we have Sagar, he'll do all the adjustments. Great. The game is right there. Nihal is white. Mamedov is black. And what is the opening? Rakshit had mentioned that it is Alapin. Let's have a look at the moves from the beginning. E4, C5, knight f3, G6. No, it's not Alapin. It is G6 and now he goes C3, D5, E takes D5, Queen takes D5, but this is a very solid line for black. D4, Bishop G7, Knight A3, Knight B5, CD5, CD4, Knight B5. Everything is still a theory. Knight A6, you had to stop this. Knight C7, Knight takes D4, Bishop G7, sorry, Knight BD4, Knight F6, Bishop B5, check, Bishop D7, and here he took on A6. I don't know until which point the theory is, but the players are playing pretty fast and we have reached this position. Rook E1 looks pleasant for Nihal. He has a very nice rook here. One second, let me just. Yeah, he has a very nice rook here placed, and this knight on d4 is very good. Obviously, the main imbalance, guys. What is the main imbalance in the position? Very quickly in the chat. Let me just open the YouTube here. Transpose to Alapin. Double pawn, bishop pair. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Bishop pair is the main imbalance, as few of you have spotted. Black has the bishop pair. White has these amazing knights here. One of the knight is placed in the center. At some point, if it can be kicked with e5, and then you don't know where it's gonna go because this, everything is covered. So what is the knight going to do? That's why Nihal goes knight e5, a very nice move, stops black's e5. So he has actually kind of solidified this knight on d4. What else? Yeah, these are the double pawns. I think that's definitely a weakness out there for white. Going to be interesting because the position is not at all something which is very closed. It is pretty much of an open position, and we know that the bishops are good in open position. So very dynamic play we are going to see. 11 minutes for Nihal and 12 minutes for Mamedov. Okay, I hope now everything is fine in the chat. Sorry for all the mess up and goof up, but Kinjal says just watch a 1 million video. Wholesome. Oh, thank you so much. Still thinking knight e5. What can black play? How should he continue? What are the suggestions, guys? Do you want to give up this bishop on d7 or do you want to save it? But if you want to save it, where can it go? E6, f5, g4, h3. Anywhere it goes, white can capture it. So bishop c8. Would you like to do that? Bishop c8, bishop b7. Doesn't look so bad. Quite a possibility, I would say. Oops. What? I didn't have battery in my phone. Wow, wonderful. And now I don't have another phone. ठीक है. I can't read the chats for maybe a few minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, but I'm believing he will reach very soon. So that is one idea, bishop c8. I really like this idea. The other option is, let's say you just say ignore and you want to go rook a d8. Oh, he goes rook a b8. Exactly, he has ignored, which is a good thing for Nihal because he always has a choice to capture it. Right now, this bishop on c1 cannot be developed because b2 is hanging. So how do you plan to complete your development? Look at black's position. Rooks are already connected. So the development is finished. Whereas look at white. A bishop, a queen. 2 more pieces have to be developed so that the rooks are connected. When do we say the development is complete? When the rooks are connected. How can Nihal do that? The very first question is, do you want to take the bishop on d7 or do you think your e5 knight is strong in this position? What would you say, guys? Please write in the chat. Until then, I'll open the door. And we have Mr. Shah here, who is always late, all the time late. He must get some punishment later.
Hi, everyone.
Your phone, please. Because my phone also went off. So thank you.
Hello, guys. How are you doing? Nihal versus Rauf Mamedov. What a matchup we have. And Amruta, why is this here?
Exactly. I think I just kind of was blank.
Wow, Amruta, you set it up so well. Just that one thing, maybe we can change here the name.
Okay.
And make this Nihal Sarin because that's below his photo. And
Queen c2 is being suggested. Okay. Rakshit is saying watching this while sitting in the last bench of the class.
Arey, wow.
Wow. If his professor comes and he hears you saying wow.
MIT, professor in MIT, please check your students. What are they doing? So it started with
that day also to be not teaching.
e4, c5. He was white, yeah. Nihal is white. G6.
Oh, sorry.
And he goes c3.
Yes. Alapin.
D5. Because
how much do you know?
Well, the main thing is if you go bishop g7, there is d4. So he went d5. And now the main point is that when you take, queen takes, the knight cannot develop to c3. So that's why the pawn move, and now queen takes d5 has happened. So the queen feels very safe on the d5 square. d4 played by Nihal in the center, bishop to g7. And now came knight a3, and this is a very typical idea, Amruta. The point is to go knight to b5 and look at the c7 square along with the bishop from f4. So cd played, and now generally you put this move
knight b5 anyway.
Yeah.
with the threat of knight c7.
So knight a6 was played,
Hmm.
and here Nihal takes back the pawn. And he says to his opponent that your knight is slightly misplaced on a6. Knight to f6. And now a very interesting move. He first gives a check, and very likely that this is his preparation. Bishop d7, and now he chops it off, because if you take directly bishop takes a6 here,
Yeah.
then after b takes a6, the bishop can develop on this diagonal.
Yeah, very good point, because we were analyzing that the bishop later was on d7,
Yeah.
which gave an advantage to white. Knight e5 as a tempo happened.
Correct. So bishop d7, bishop a6,
But it also helps in development for black, maybe. Let's see.
ba6, castles, rook e1, as you have made this nice blue colors. The
Oh, it
rook is
stays.
on the open file, the knight is well placed. Rook e8,
With
and
the
what
idea-
is the color here?
Because the knight, if it gets attacked with e5, it doesn't have those squares. It has to go back. And
Ah.
knight, the strength of a knight is as much advanced it can be good.
And so white puts his knight
Yes.
here, very well placed knight now. Excellent knights in the
Yes.
center. Rook b8 played.
So the question was whether you'll capture the bishop
Again, more
or
colors.
Not. More colors.
And look at Nihal's next move, Amrita. This is such a nice move. He goes h3. Because I feel what he's trying to do is he's trying to dominate this knight here. He's like, this knight, mostly if he moves his queen, can go to g4 and then exchange off this knight on e5. Once the knight on e5 is exchanged, this is no longer very stable.
Correct.
And so on. So he went h3, just keeping an eye on the g4 square. Rook d8. And now it's Nihal's move. He's thinking for his move. He's down to 7 minutes, 7 seconds. Rauf Mamedov is on 9 minutes, 15 seconds.
This is a very good position to actually strategize that how do you want to develop your pieces? Where do you want your dark squared bishop to be? Right? Because it's that moment to strategize. Sitting on the back bench. Like Rakshan. Okay. फर्स्टली अभिषेक वर्मा आज सर का बर्थडे नहीं है ओके सो बट थैंक यू फॉर विशिंग हिम इन एडवांस Bhargav, what is this? Amrita ma'am had made a fan art for Chess Biz India and gave it to Sagar sir at the start of the Open Chess tournament in Phoenix Mall. He loved it but didn't saw your reaction. Oh, you are the one. Okay, that is so amazing. It's
Can
really
you
nice.
show it? Oh, and now he takes.
Yeah, this one was very nicely made. Thank you so much. I did ask Sagar who gave you, and then I saw the name, but
Thank you so much, Bhargav. Is this you? Is this you who has made it? It's beautiful.
yeah, he made it.
Oh, and now he's taken the bishop. Rook takes, Amrita. And the idea is e5 and you are in trouble.
Right, he took, yeah, on the d7.
Took, yeah.
Okay.
So maybe we need to move our queen from here.
No, queen e2. It stops e5. It supports b2, and it threatens bishop f4.
Bit too.
Today, going to be difficult.
And what is the format of this event? That is a question, Amrita. Do you know?
No, I was waiting for you to tell me.
So there are 4 games of 15 minutes plus 2-second increment. And if it is a tie in 2-2, if someone scores 2.5, that person wins. If it's 2-2, then a single rapid Armageddon game will determine the winner. White gets 15 minutes and must win, with a bidding system to determine who plays black with draw odds. Players communicate privately the amount of time they are willing to get to play as black. The lower time offered wins the bid, and that player starts with the amount of time bid. If the bid is tied, the higher seeded player chooses the color. So it's like, you know, if you are white, let's say white is 15, then I will say I want 13 minutes as black. And if Nihal says 13, Mamedov says 14, then basically Mamedov has a chance to say 12. But if he doesn't, then Nihal gets 13. But if Mamedov says 12, then Nihal says 11, then 10, then 9, then 8, then 7, then 6, then 5. Then if this is अरे बाप रे 5 से नीचे नहीं, then Nihal gets 5, Mamedov gets 15. So it's a very interesting way of doing this.
Seems like a maths class.
Queen A4 has been played here. So Nihal is looking at this A6 pawn. He's attacking that pawn. And Mamedov is slightly uncomfortable now because his rook is a little bit in the air. The E7 pawn is a little bit in the air. So all these things are slightly exposed.
Yes, but whatever you said right now, people are saying that it is not a repeated bidding.
Acha, one time bid hai. Oh, then it's no fun.
One time bidding.
One time bid means he will say 12, that guy will say 14, and it's done.
Good that actually I could not understand anything. The last part what you said.
It's just one bid.
So now it's good.
फिर इतना fun नहीं है. So someone says 14 and the other person says 13, so the 13 wins.
क्योंकि लाइफ में भी टाइम कम है ना, इतना टाइम थोड़ी ना टाइम पे बिड करेंगे. Okay. Gupta Bihari says I lost 10 bullet games in a row, but bhai, you have to not play 10 bullet games.
Okay, now a big problem for Nihal is where to develop this bishop, because the moment he develops it, his pawn on b2 is hanging. So that's the reason why he cannot develop that bishop so easily. But maybe he can think about it. Yeah.
By the way, Drax has asked Sagar or Amrita why to take Black's knight on a6, which is bad, and give up our bishop. Please explain.
Because you are making his pawns doubled, and doubled pawns could become potentially weak. At the same time, White now has a passed pawn in the c pawn. If you see, there is no one to stop this pawn from moving forward.
Correct. Only his own knight, which is stopping him from moving.
Yeah, right now this knight is hanging.
So why not to do something like bishop e3? Let's just see. Rook takes b2. Now maybe do you want to take on a6 or start with c4?
c4. Queen b7.
Chalo.
c5.
Yeah.
Or maybe knight b3. And if Nihal finds this idea, that would be unbelievable, because now he's threatening knight c5, attacking here the pawn on d7. He's given up a pawn. So it's not at all an easy move to find after rook b6. To just give up the pawn on b2.
No, but one more question was after bishop e3, rook b2, what he showed. How is the move queen a6? Matlab, just a very calm move if I go for.
Yeah, that's possible, but then you gave up your healthy b2 pawn for a not so healthy a6 pawn.
Got it.
So why would you like to do that, That's the point.
Sure. All okay?
Okay, yeah. No, he's thinking for his move right now.
So
and
bishop e3 is one option.
Oh, he has played knight to b3.
More natural. Now again he's threatening bishop e3.
Now Nihal wants to go bishop e3, and then maybe he wants to bring his rook here. After bishop e3, he may even go knight c5. So,
or Sagar, our idea c4, c5, c6. 4 आए.
अरे ये भी बढ़िया idea. Push.
Push
So people are saying, tell us a bit about this opponent, Nihal's opponent, Rauf Mamedov. Well, what I can say is that he is a blitz expert. He is very good at speed chess. He's very quick. Recently, Nihal played with him at the Olympiad as well in the India versus Azerbaijan match, and they ended in a draw. So definitely a player who cannot be taken lightly by Nihal Sarin. But I think in this format, of rapid play, Nihal is definitely one of the favorites. And look at this move, Amrita. And talk about being flexible. He goes queen b5 and Nihal instantly picks it up. And he's telling his opponent that, okay, even if you sort of straighten out your pawn structure, I will come and attack you here. And then you can't go to b7 because of knight c5. Knight c5, 4 king. And if you go back rook b8, then again I'll go knight c5. I might go b4, I might go a4, and I think white gets some play running into the
b4
position.
I would be scared because of knight d5 and all.
Yes.
And c3. But Sagar, even this rook actually is in a problem. Can't go to e6, can't go to a6. What is the best? Why not rook d6?
Yeah, it's possible. But you know what has happened in the game? After queen b5, a b5, bishop e3 has happened. So he's thinking now what to do.
Manan Goel is saying, I think if Nihal stretches to Armageddon, he'll be the clear favorite.
But why to stretch to the Armageddon?
Rakshit is predicting this as a draw.
No, I believe that there is good chance here for Nihal.
Sagar bhai, please increase the size of the clock if possible. Maybe after this game.
Yeah, let's try to do that. We'll do a few more things. Oh, by the way, look at what has happened, Amrita. He goes bishop e3. He went rook d6, your move. Bishop c5 was played. Now, if you move your rook away, e7 pawn is hanging.
But you have
So
to
rook d6 was not a good move. So he went rook e6. Now takes.
Another double pawn.
Now no, those pawns have become undoubled.
Correct.
Now this is weak, and actually Nihal can start mounting on them. Like let's say rook e1, knight d4. He can put pressure here. So this looks very promising for Nihal Sarin.
Man, how do you save it? Rook e1. What is
King
it?
f7.
Knight d4. Aren't you losing the pawn?
Yeah, quite possible. So rook e1 attacking this pawn, king to f7, and knight to d4. And now
d5 is also hanging.
there is no way to defend this. So
is
Nihal,
it a blunder or what? I mean, you can't be losing a pawn so easily.
yeah, quite possible that this is already quite difficult because rook e1, Amrita, I think there has to be some tactical way. But look at Nihal's time. He's down to 2 minutes 7 seconds. He plays a4. Wow. Amrita, did you expect that
No,
move?
because I thought यहाँ पे सब शांति है ही. Why to go for that?
मतलब ऐसा है ना कि sometimes some things in life are already yours. So then you try to find something on the other side. Like ये तो मेरे weaknesses है ही. So I go here. So for example, like you are to my wife already.
Are you saying grass is greener on the
No,
other
you
side?
are my wife already.
The
So I'll go
bad
and meet
example. Bad
meet
example.
friends.
Yes.
You are always with me.
Okay, I get
Then-
it. I mean, no, you won't get anything. Whatever it is there, you go and find out, figure it out yourself. I'm already there. Arre, Divya in the chat. Yeah, right time, Divya.
Oh, Divya is saying rook e1, e5. Very smart. Divya Deshmukh analyzing much better than us, saying that if you take here, then there is rook d1 check, king h2. And now, guys, in the chat, what is the best move in this position? Can you figure out what is the best move here that black can play?
Black can play. Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes. Black can play.
Neeraj asks, is Nihal the youngest and Anand the oldest player in the tournament?
I think Raunak might be younger than Nihal for
Knight
sure.
g4, is it Knight g4, Sagar?
Yes, it is knight g4 and we will
Utkarsh,
see.
Tejas, Madhusudan, Abhigyan, Arush, Learn with PV, Hemant.
Well done, guys.
A lot of people are there.
And just
And IPW Law, welcome to the booster of Indian chess. Yeah, thank you for becoming the member. Thank you so much.
thank you for
We
becoming
also
members.
had another member in the beginning. We have to read later the name.
So that was the trick, Amruta, that Divya managed to find, which is to play e5 and then the pawn is not hanging. So all those who said knight g4 here, fantastic job because it's a check. And if the knight is taken, then I take your bishop, your rook with a check. So that would be winning. So coming back to the game, what has happened is after this, he doesn't go rook e1, he goes a4 and he attacks this. And after rook a4, Nihal is saying now this is weak, these pawns are also weak. So Mamedov goes for counterplay. He goes rook d1, king h2, and now plays knight to d5.
But look at the time. Nihal has only 45 seconds.
Only 45
3-minute
seconds
difference is huge. It's
for
not going to
Nihal
be
Sarin.
easy. Knight d4.
He goes
E6
knight
is
d4.
hanging.
But Amruta, why didn't he just pick up the pawn here on
Rook
a7? Because I think he found it a little bit dangerous that opponent can give a check,
G3.
g3, and maybe there could be some issues with the b2 pawn. I don't think he liked this. So that's the reason why he played knight d4 here.
Still fine. What do you do here? King f7 को rook a7 I'll go for. Or do you want to go rook d2? Knight e6 rook b2.
Oh, rook d2.
Or do you want to go bishop e5 check first?
Yeah, I like this move, rook d2. Actually, Nihal's move knight d4 doesn't really look great because yes, rook d2. I attack here, and also I have this check in hand.
But it makes the opponent think, because I think Mamedov has a lot of choices right now.
Yes, he has choices, but I think he's looking at what to do. He hasn't played. He's down to 2 minutes 50 seconds. Amruta.
Yes.
No, here only.
Yes. Look, he's thinking, which is still good news for us.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good news, but I think black is within the drawing realms here because just rook d2, and I don't know what is Nihal's next move going to be. Maybe he goes c4.
No, maybe for rook d2, exactly. c4 first.
This is
bishop d4, c takes d5, bishop c5.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It doesn't look easy to meet it, and he's down to 2 minutes 2 seconds.
One minute 53 seconds. So the difference from 3 minutes has come down to 2 minutes now, Sagar.
Yeah. No, 1 minute. Now it's just a difference of 1 minute.
Yeah.
The other option
rook
here
d2 is hard to find.
Is to he goes king f7.
Now can you go rook a7? Rook a7, because even the e7 will be under pressure with a check.
Agreed.
He goes knight f3. Oh, knight g5 check he wants to give. And he stops bishop e5 check also. So he has made himself here safe.
Beautiful. Nihal Sarin just keeping control. He goes knight f3, Amruta, stopping rook d2, stopping bishop e5. एक piece कितना काम करेगा? That piece is a MVP.
Huh?
Most valuable player. And you know, Amruta, knight g5 is actually a big threat because if king f6, then your h7 pawn is hanging. And if knight g5, the king moves away, then your e6 pawn is hanging.
Yeah, but he doesn't want that e6 pawn. Na? Bishop e5 check is a worry.
हाँ, but ये मर रहा है ना अभी.
Correct.
Goes bishop f6, but अब ले लो. Free में. Free. बढ़िया.
Amazing. कितना टाइम है? 18 seconds. ये टाइम पे very risky हो गया पर.
People, Aniket is saying you guys are looking at Nihal's time. Don't worry about his time. Oh, he takes with the bishop, and now rook b1 played and c4. What an accurate move, hitting the knight f4, and now Nihal
C5,
must find
C5.
b4 because you know, Amruta, why to give up this pawn?
No,
on
because
b2?
f4 is hanging. But he plays b4. Your move.
Yeah, very nice pawns, very healthy looking pawns, and at the same time black has an extra pawn here, but they are all mangled up. Bishop e3, again a typical nice looking move, Nihal move, just solidifying everything together. Knight d3 pushes the pawn to b5, and Nihal Sarin is on track to winning the first game here. Clearly better, but in rapid play you have to be slightly careful under time trouble.
Exactly. What about e4 with that bishop e5? Is there any danger over there?
No, but Amruta, I always have g3. So he went rook b2, b6 played. I think e4 is forced. E4 is forced.
Yeah,
knight d2, bishop e5.
g3 खेल दो.
g3, Amruta, there is a deadly move there. g3, if he blunders.
Bishop f2, knight f2 आ रहा है ना?
Exactly, knight f2, but he finds king g1. So the point was, if you go g3, knight f2, if you take here, I take this with a pin. So that's the reason why here king g1 was played, and now knight to c5 is an error because now he can take, and after rook d2.
1 second to Nihal. 5 seconds increment, yeah?
No. He made a couple of moves perhaps. Rook b5. So it went
We
rook
don't have
d5,
time to analyze.
rook
We just have
a2,
to...
g3, just saving himself, bishop b8, knight e4, knight e5, c4, king g2, and it's just
the
pushing
pawns
forward.
are just completely going
15
Yeah,
plus
he
2.
won. He won. Awesome.
Nihal Sarin wins the game, and the score is now 1-0 in the favor of Nihal. The Global Chess Championship has started off well for our Indian lad. There are going to be 6 Indian players taking part: Nihal, Raunak, Arjun, Vishi, Vidit, and whom am I missing? Guys, help me. Maybe I missed a name.
कौन क्या हुआ?
One player, I don't know. I just missed one name. So
Nihal
Mitrabha Guha, correct. Mitrabha Guha. And so there are going to be 6 players, and the first game has started off with Nihal winning it.
So next game is immediately? Maybe 1 or 2 minutes after. By the way, we have a super chat from Akshay Natu. He says, मेरे को लगा 1 million की celebrations होंगी, special stream, party, cakes, journey videos, contests वगैरह होगा. आप लोग तो business as usual पे चले गए.
नहीं है ना वो. We made a nice post with 100 giveaways, so that is there. And then we also have a special stream which we will do to launch something for 1 million. But we also posted a video in the morning today where Amruta and I are talking about our journey to 1 million, and I think many people liked it, to just know ki journey kaisa tha. And Amruta, Kramnik is playing.
Oh wow, Kramnik versus
Melkumian, Rant Melkumian. So clearly very interesting.
Perfect. All right, Sagar. Have a good time. See you.
Where?
Bye, guys.
Where are you going?
यहीं पे.
ठीक है, उसका गेम शुरू होगा तो बुलाऊंगा.
अच्छा, कितना Armageddon after this game? If they draw only, then if Nihal loses only, then it's Armageddon, no? If this game only if Nihal loses, it's Armageddon, right?
No, there are 4 games. So Nihal has to score 2.5.
Got it. Now he is black. This is important.
People are saying Ding ka blunder dekho. Ding Lejeune versus Le. So Ding was white. Oh my god. If Ding loses to Le Tuan Min, that would be huge. Okay, Ding is completely winning. ठीक है. Completely winning.
But he lost.
Completely winning. अभी white है ना वो. Completely winning.
He lost.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's still winning. Completely winning.
वो नाइट फोर्क में ही गया रहेगा ना, और कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता. कौन सा ए पॉन ये हो गया क्या?
I think he had to play Amruta rook f7 to cut the king off and then threaten this. He went this, king g7, king g3.
Oh, a4, because if you go rook f1, there is knight c2. You cannot. No, you can still go rook. You cannot go rook f4. Knight e2 check आ रहा है. That's the main problem.
So all the squares are covered, huh?
Oh, yes. F3.
So he had to start with
rook f4 maybe.
king h3.
Then not easy, huh? Because
even rook f1 is fine. Rook f1 here.
But you'll get a draw at the most. This is
no, why draw? Why draw?
Knight d5, king e4.
I mean, I'm fighting for
knight
a win.
f6 check.
Yeah, but I'm fighting for a win. So
I know, but I doubt if that gives you enough advantage.
But this
g4 was unnecessary.
He just lost just like that.
Unbelievable, huh?
Vishy is going to play tomorrow, I believe. Or day after. 1 second. Let's look at when Anand is playing. I was so it's a 4-game match, guys.
Vishy tomorrow same time. That's what Abhinav Gupta says.
Wait, I'll confirm it. Yeah, tomorrow 4:30. Vishy Anand versus Pavel Ponkratov. And then Anish is also same time tomorrow. And Raunak is also same time. 4:30.
Tomorrow also 4:30.
What is there?
There a meeting I have to change. I'll have to go now.
So दोस्तों, how are you? All of you, कैसा चल रहा है सब? Let's wait for the next game to begin. Arjun day after tomorrow, Vidit on 17th. बढ़िया. How are things? Satyam says, can we have 2 boards, a one small one for live? बढ़िया, Satyam. I will take your suggestion seriously and try to implement it. Yep, there we have it. I will try to put it in the how many of you are playing a tournament somewhere? Koi tournaments, anything that's coming up for you guys? How is your chess practice going? What is happening? Are you guys practicing well? What is the situation like? Let me know. So this is now our live board. I will make myself smaller. So today I was outside and I couldn't prepare for this stream so well, like all the layouts and all. But this looks not so bad. Yes, I will also be streaming Julius Bear. Have you given your prediction? Yes, I have. I have given my prediction. I have written in my prediction that the winner will be Arjun Erigaisi. I was just doing it, and I came to the conclusion that he will win. But looks very tough for sure. How should we make this bigger? That is the question. The clock. I think this looks good. बढ़िया. प्रोफाइल भी बड़ा करेंगे. पूरा chess.com को ही चेंज कर देते हैं. जो आप मांगो वो, whatever you guys say we'll do. और क्या करना है दोस्तों? What else should we make bigger? ठीक है, ये वाला थंबनेल मैंने नहीं बनाया था आज, सो लेट मी ट्राई टू मेक अ थंबनेल ऑल्सो, क्योंकि ये पिक्सेलेटेड फोटो है। ठीक है दोस्तों, चैलेंज एक्सेप्टेड। आई विल मेक अ नाइस थंबनेल विद इन 30 seconds. लेट्स सी इफ आई कैन डू इट। निहाल राउफ मामेदोव। इस स्ट्रीम को सुंदर बनाने का काम मैंने अपने कंधों पे लिया है, सो आई एम गोइंग टू मेक इट लुक रियली गुड। How much time is left now for the next game to begin? थंबनेल कैसा अच्छा बनता है कि नहीं वो आप बताना। How is the thumbnail? Okay, it's not great, I agree. But ठीक है, चलेगा। Abhyudaya is busy, so I have to make this. फिनिशिंग टचेस डाल रहे हैं। ओके, शेयर, अपलोड, चेक, अपलोड। दिव्या चैट मिस्ड। दिव्या एंटर द चैट। स्ट्रीम को सुंदर कैसे बनाओगे? आई एम नॉट ऑन स्ट्रीम। अरे दिव्या वाह, व्हाट अ डायलॉग बाय दिव्या देशमुख। दिव्या वो भी सुधार लेंगे हम बाय सेंडिंग यू अ लिंक एंड देन यू कैन ज्वाइन, बट यू विल नॉट ज्वाइन, सो देयरफॉर आई विल हैव टू। ये देखो दोस्तों, इसको कहते हैं टैलेंट। गेम शुरू हो गया है, सो वी डोंट हैव मच टाइम, बट लुक एट दिस, है ना? बढ़िया बढ़िया थंबनेल है कि नहीं? अभी लग रहा है ना, द फील फुल फायरी फील। सब सेट हो गया। एंड स्ट्रीम का भी थंबनेल हम अच्छा कर देते हैं, सो दैट और लोग आएंगे देखने। डन। एंड एक लिंक भी जनरेट कर रहे हैं हम जूम पे, which I will, which is my final attempt to make the stream the best quality. But देखते हैं। Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And also I forgot we should put this ना, कितने लोग देख रहे हैं और फिर धीरे धीरे कितने लोग। हाँ, ये रहा लाइव व्यूअर्स यहाँ पे। बढ़िया, ठीक है। And then we will put also live subscribers and all, but that we will do later. Now let's go to the game. इतने सारे मूव्स हो चुके हैं. Let's flip the board. E4. Rauf Mamedov says, I'm 1 point down in the match. I must win it somehow, this game, because I have the white pieces. So he goes E4. Nihal Sarin responds with a super solid E5. He's like, bhai, apne ko risk nahi lene ka. Apun simple chess. We'll play simple chess. Knight F3, Knight C6. Bishop to B5 was played. लाइव बोर्ड तो चेंज करो. अरे हाँ दोस्तों, लाइव बोर्ड भी चेंज करेंगे हम. डन. ठीक है, लाइव बोर्ड को भी अपन फ्लिप भी कर देंगे. ऑल गुड, एवरीथिंग गुड. Okay guys, it was fun going to sleep. Good night. अरे. Okay, so bishop c4, bishop c5 played, Italian. Knight to c3. Very interesting move by Mamedov, because generally in the Italian you play your pawn to d3 and keep your c pawn flexible. You push the pawn to c3. But here he has gone for the move knight c3. So Nihal says nothing to worry. I will also play knight f6, d3, h6, maybe just stopping bishop g5 plans. Goes. Guys, wrong thumbnail कहाँ है? Right ही तो डाला है. Is it wrong thumbnail? I think the thumbnail is right. Maybe you guys have to refresh. I can see the right thumbnail. So a3 was played just to make a square for the bishop. Nihal goes d6, knight a4. So now the bishop is going to be lost here. Black will get the bishop pair. So, white will get the bishop pair. So black says, I want to exchange one of the bishops. Mamedov takes, pawn takes, knight takes, a takes. Castles. Now the dynamics of having the open f file are very interesting, because on one hand you have a slightly weakened pawn structure and white can take advantage of it with a timely d4 move when at the right moment. But on the other hand, black has excellent attacking chances with knight h5, knight f4. You can also move your queen from e8 to g6. You also can double your rooks down the f file. So there are a lot of possibilities to attack here. Mamedov goes for the move b4. And this is a very curious move that Mamedov has played. And here's my question to all of you. What is Mamedov's idea here? If Nihal were to take in this position, Nihal decides to take knight takes b4, because see, a takes b4 is met with rook takes a1. So what is Mamedov's idea here? Let's see how many of you are able to find this. फिक्स करते हैं, एक सेकेंड. Yes, the right move, and one that has been found by so many of you, is bishop takes h6, because then the queen protects the rook and your knight is hanging. So bishop takes h6. Now you could take it Then after a takes b4, the king is slightly exposed and the pawns are equal. But you can also say कि भाई अगर मैं मारूंगा तो तुम मार रहे हो, correct? So what I will do is desperado. What happens when you are taking a piece and he's taking your piece, correct? So in that situation, you can go for a desperado here. What is that desperado that you can do? Can you tell me? With which piece? Your piece which is hanging. You can do a desperado. Yes. Knight takes c2 or knight takes d3. These are both possibilities. So take, and now he will say, if I take, you take. So desperado, because you are going to take my piece, I will do desperado with that piece. How does white do desperado now? So you see, it's desperado pe desperado. What is it? Dharmista Parmar. Very good. Vinista Veerasekara, Divyansh Tiwari, Yash Tandon, Shashwat Parida, Santosh Sai Karthik, Junaid. Very good. Bishop takes g7. So now I take here, you take here. So I take this. Then you take this. And actually, in this entire bargain, it seems like the black king has become weak. So that's the reason why Nihal said, "Bhai Mamedov ji, I'm not interested in your pawn. Okay, you can keep your pawn. What will I do is I will play, actually live board update करने के लिए I think I have to find a way. You know, पहले के ज़माने में Mozilla Firefox used to work without being open. Like in the background it would run. But these days it's not working. I don't know why. So I have to every time open it. It was becoming difficult for many streams. I have no clue how to. Does any expert, OBS expert, know anything about this? So Queen e8, Bishop b2 was played here by Mamedov, and now Nihal goes for the move Knight h5. I like this move. Knight h5. He's looking at these squares. I have two monitors. Yeah, I think I can use that second monitor for that. Maybe I need 3 now. So now Knight h5 with the idea of coming here, and g3 was played. Okay, very interesting. So I always feel like a move like g3 is weakening your king a little bit too much. But many people just say, I'll go king g2, I'll maybe put my pawn on h4 if needed. You try to break me here. Lakshya says it is done to save RAM on your PC. There should be setting for it to allow running and consuming RAM. Okay. Rook to f6. What a beautiful move by Nihal. Actually, Nihal looks in great form. Yeah, Nihal is looking really in good form today. So with this move, chess is all about harmony. Okay. So if imagine that you are the ruler of the Black Kingdom. Okay. And everyone is like, what is the biggest resource in this kingdom, in this entire board? And everyone's like, F file. F file is the biggest resource. So the queen says, I want the F file. I will fight for it. The rook says, but I am on the F file. I want the F file. The other rook says, पर मेरा क्या? I am also there. I don't want to do anything on the A file. It is well protected. I also want the F file. So here, Nihal the king says, guys, I will take care of all of you. First, he sends the rook up to f6. Then he tells the queen, you will go to f7. And then the rook will come to f8. It is known as the Alekhine's gun. I think this is what is called, or maybe it's Alekhine's gun is rook here and queen below. So knight h2 played. Arpit says from a rating of 300, I've increased it to 1650. Thank you so much. Array, Arpit, congratulations. So knight h2. Now queen f7, I believe, is what Nihal is going to play or not. Because then there is knight g4 attacking the rook. So suddenly everyone's going to get a little bit confused, because now if you play queen f7, I go knight g4 attacking here, rook f3, maybe king g2, rook f8, but it doesn't look great now suddenly with the knight on g4. So you need to think of something else after knight h2. I like Mamedov's move, knight h2. Nice move. He goes queen g6. Nice. And what is his plan if I go knight g4 anyway? I think Nihal will just drop his rook back and then double it down here. Okay, nice. So this is not going to happen. How about getting queenside knight to kingside? Junaid. Junaid, I really like your idea. This knight here has to start coming this side somehow. But for now, Nihal has put his queen on g6. And the time is right now 9 minutes 45 seconds for Mamedov and 4 minutes 41 seconds for Nihal. White's king looks weak. Maybe knight d7 later and shift the pieces to the king side. You mean knight e7? Yeah, it looks good. I think also another idea can be knight d8 to f7 to g5. Definitely promising position for Nihal Sarin here, but has to remain careful because it's not so simple how to continue the attack. Let's say, for example, knight g4, rook f7. I go king g2. You go rook f8. I think that's standard. I go queen e2. Sorry. What is the way in which you will build up your attack? That is the question. Don't see. Queen g6. Chess D says that if knight d8, knight f7, knight g4 will trap the rook. Yes, it's just an idea that we want to get this knight into the game. But how is the question? I think even Mamedov can be really careful and play queen g4 here and exchange the queens. And then Nihal might not get an attack. But maybe Nihal, when he comes here, can just drop his queen back and say that I will now attack you this way. Like I'll get my rook here and then rook g6. Quite possible. Okay, b5 played on the board, guys. b5 attacking the knight. Now Nihal has to decide. Knight e7 looks like a great idea to keep the knight. Knight a5, I think, misplaces the knight because there are no squares available on c4 and b3. Knight d4 looks like the most natural way to continue. But there could be a fear that this knight can get trapped. So let's say knight here. Okay, b5 is hanging. Let's say I defend it with a4. Rook a f8. And now you can't trap my knight because knight f3 is there. So yeah, it's not so easy to, I think knight d4 is what Nihal must do after b5. Yes, Rijan Roy Chaudhary, that is right. Knight d4, knight f3 looks good. This is looking like a good plan. So he's played knight d4. Opponent has taken bishop takes d4, e takes d4. Okay. And e5, this is Rauf Mamedov for you. He cannot play just without taking some risks. So he has given up a pawn. And he's telling Nihal that, look, you cannot play e5 and solidify your structure. I'm going to play e5. Now, Nihal will take the pawn most likely, or he may move. Yeah, he takes. And now the question is, why did he give up the pawn? Because if the knight could sit on e4, that would have been wonderful. Because the knight is a monster there. It is called an outpost, a square which cannot be kicked off from, like a piece cannot be kicked off from that square is an outpost. There's no pawn that it can kick it away from. However, in such a position, the knight cannot easily reach e4. So that's the reason why there could be some other plan. He goes queen to g4. And that first point is that if you take here, then after hg4, the knight is trapped. The knight can't go to f4. There is no knight f6. There's no knight g7. There's nothing. So you can't take the queen. When you can't take the queen, you want to drop it back. And I think queen f7 is the most natural move here. After queen g4, you play your queen to f7. And then you bring your other rook to f8 and try to put pressure here. But then why did he have to give up the pawn is the question. Could he have not gone queen g4 directly? What was the reason? Maybe he did not like the fact that after e5, black gets this very nice structure. But, I mean, is it worth an entire pawn? I don't think so. Now, I think Nihal's move is clear. Queen f7. Just keep the queen on the board. But Nihal is thinking a lot. He is down to 2 minutes on the clock. Rauf Mamedov has 7 minutes 23 seconds. 5 minutes more than Nihal, nearly. Maybe, yes, Graham Pawar, you are right. Maybe he wants to go rook e1 and attack here. But then, what about your a3 pawn? That is weak. So now suddenly after the bishop is gone from b2, the rook on a8 is feeling very happy, to attack there. Oh, Nihal plays the move queen f5. And Nihal is very smart. Yeah, he tells his opponent that if you take now, I will undouble my pawns and I will be a complete pawn up. Of course, no one in his right mind would ever capture this queen here on f5. But then what do you play as white? Because you want to play rook e1, but your f2 pawn is hanging here. So you can't move this rook. This rook is jammed. If you can't move that rook, you want to move this rook. But if you move that rook, then your a3 pawn is hanging. So it's not easy. But the best move is rook e1. And you give up that pawn. So that after take, you can take the pawn on e5. That's the point. But there could be another plan here, which is to get the knight somehow. Yes, c2 pawn is also very weak. Correct. Natias, you are right. For now, Nihal Sarin in the driver's seat, I believe. If the next move, Rauf Mamedov is unable to find. It's very hot. Can white play queen e4? But queen e4, I can just take. And these two pawns were weak because they were on the open file. Once you close the file with a pawn, these pawns are no longer easy to be attacked. So that's the reason why you can't play queen e4. And by the way, guys, Rauf Mamedov finds rook a1, which just shows what a good player he is. He finds this good move, and now Nihal has to be careful. See, if you take rook takes a3 now, which is the most natural move, queen takes f5 will follow. Now you can't take rook takes f5. Actually, you can. I mean, ideally you must take ef5, but then rook e5 and white gets back the pawn. Also, his rook becomes active, the knight coming in here. But if rook f5, g4, you might think that you are losing a piece here, but not quite. What is the only move to remain in the game? Very quickly, guys, what is the only move in this position to remain in the game for black? Black to play. Let me see how many of you are able to answer this super quick. Brilliant. Brilliant job by Shashwat Parita, Ratnam Gurumurthy, Padaya, Yash, Ishan, Gandhar, Chess with World, Rajesh, Arnob, Bhavya Shah. Well done. Rook g5, pinning this and staying in the game. So that is how it will not be a great idea to play that. What are the moves that are made now? After queen f5, rook a1, rook takes a3 happened, queen takes e takes happened, rook e5 happened, rook c3 was played, knight to f3, rook takes c2, knight d4, and now rook c5. So Nihal is still a pawn up if you count the number of pawns, but his knight is outside the game on h5. But Nihal is putting a lot of pressure on Rauf Mamedov. He is asking him, what is your plan, Rauf? Because now if you take here, my pawns are going to be very powerful. So the only move, guys, again for Rauf here to stay in the game and be, with an equal position is to give a check. King f7, and then I was thinking rook b8, but that looks again too slow. Because if this, I can go rook to d6, attacking the knight, and then the b5 pawn falls. So that might not be the best idea. Oh, he goes rook fe1. Not the best move. Nihal takes. Excellent move by Nihal Sarin. Take on e5, and now another beautiful move by Nihal, g6. You might not really find such moves beautiful, guys, but they are very beautiful because you are making a square for your knight to come back, and you are also defending your f5 pawn. Now the question is, what happens to rook e7? Of course, I will just drop my rook back and then defend it. So the other question is, what happens to a check? Well, of course, I will go back. If you go up, I will go up. If you give a check now, I will go up with my king. If you go to b8 trying to attack here, I will go rook d7 attacking your knight. If you move your knight to f3, I will take your pawn with attacking the knight. If you go to e2, I will then maybe come knight f6. If you then take here, maybe I'll come king f7 with my king. So black's position clearly for choice at this point of time after g6, and Nihal down to 42 seconds. Rauf Mamedov has 3 minutes 18 seconds, and Rauf must play very carefully because he's already 1 point down in the match. If he loses this, he will be 2 points down, and then it will be very difficult to salvage the match because then Nihal will need just half a point and will have white pieces. Now 2 minutes 52 seconds. Rauf is actually trying to figure out that what is my counterplay. I think as a human being, you see b7 pawn as a weakness. But for Nihal, it's like, okay, you go 1, 2, 3 moves to take that pawn. That's going to take you a lot of time. And time is quite an important commodity on the chessboard. Meanwhile, I will go rook d6 and I will attack your knight and the pawn, and also from d5 attack this pawn. Also, my knight can come back into the game and be very well placed. Graham says, sometimes I think when Nihal gets low on time, it gives pressure to his opponents. It is quite possible. Rook e7 played. Most likely Nihal will play rook f7 because that is a very, very steady move and a simple move. He goes Yeah, it happened. Actually, it happened. Rook f7, rook e8, rook f8, rook e7. I don't think Nihal will agree to a draw. He should fight on check, and now king g7. Yes, maybe you feel a bit afraid that rook b8, rook b7. So I won't be too critical of Nihal accepting a draw here, because he's also pawn up, point up in the match, and taking a draw might not be a bad idea with the black pieces. But if he finds king g7 and if he goes for it, he goes for it. He's the only one who's going to play for a win here. So an excellent move here by Nihal Sarin. And now after rook b8, just as we discussed, he goes rook d7, attacking the knight, asking the knight to move so that the d3 pawn will be attacked. Wow, beautiful play. Nihal Sarin showing his class here, not letting Rauf Mamedov get away even with that half a point, because guys, this is clearly better position for black. Where does the knight go now? The knight wants to go to b3 or f3, then you take on d3 and attack the knight. So you can't play it there. You want to go to e2 or c2? Yes, possible. That those seem like the logical move, and you can see Nihal is down to 17 seconds. Rauf Mamedov 1 minute 33 seconds. He goes knight f3. Nihal quickly chops the pawn. King g2. Now this is hanging, but you can't save it. So you have to let it go. But then how do you... Yes, beautiful move. Knight f6, rook b7, and with knight d5, he can protect this pawn on c7. But he goes... What did he go? He goes rook d7. Maybe not the best idea. But knight e5, attacking the rook now. Excellent move by Rauf. I think Nihal's move, rook d7, was not the best. He could have gone knight d5, and he was just better. Rook e7, knight c6, rook d7, knight. Yeah, the... Now I think Nihal can't play on, because yes, the draw was agreed, and it came slightly anticlimactic towards the end, because I think Nihal had excellent chances to win here. All that he had to find here was the move knight d5, which I think was one of the moves that he wanted to play in this position after rook b7, knight d5 or knight e8. But then he thought, why should I, spoil the positioning of my knight? I'll go rook d7. But I think he just missed knight e5 and just perpetual attacks there. So with this, the score is 1.5 in the favor of Nihal Sarin. And I'm going to just make this score, update this score. 1.5 versus half of Mamedov. And we have 2 more games left in the 15+2 format. Nihal needs just 1 more point. If he wins the next game, he will win it. Kramnik versus Rant Melkumian. Ooh, Kramnik winning here. Vladimir Kramnik in a very good position. Let's look at it from the black's perspective. He's given a check here on g3. And where does the king go? Bishop f6. It's a checkmate. Vladimir Kramnik starting off with 2 wins in a row. 2-0 is the score. It's an online event, Gandhar. Okay, Revant Nayanawari, I will take your feedback. This is the game between Ding Lijen and Le Tuan Min. Ding has sacrificed his bishop here so that after bishop h4, the d4 knight was hanging, and black is winning here. I actually wanted to also discuss with all of you the scorecard of this event. Like, I don't know if you have seen the pairing basically, and what are your thoughts on who will win it? Because I thought it's a very nice tournament that they have managed to organize, and organizing events is never easy. I know for a fact. So, and they are able to do it here with so many world class players. I guess Magnus Carlsen could have played here, especially because now Play Magnus and Chess.com are one, but I don't know, maybe Magnus might play from the next events. You did not interview Hans after 2700. Well, I have asked him, and maybe I'll interview him at some point, but you know that there are so many things that are happening out there. It might not be easy for him to uh, do an interview, but we'll see. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to. Let's have a look at this. I don't know if I can get it here. Hmm. Yeah, this is the event. So 64 players are playing here, and I thought right now, by the way, we are looking at yeah, we are looking at group G, Ding Liren's group here. Group G is what we are looking at. So most likely Ding will beat Tuan Min Le and Esipenko Basem. I feel Esipenko is the favorite, correct? Amruta is here. Hello, Amruta.
Hi.
Amruta, you had lunch now?
Dinner.
Dinner?
Yeah.
What? Why so soon?
Whenever you get hungry, you eat.
Cha.
And
Nice.
otherwise you'll eat some junk and then you won't have good dinner. So. Okay, so Nihal is on 1.5. This game, if he draws, no, he still have to play.
He has to win in order to win the match.
Get it.
But draw means he needs 2 draws now and he should be through.
Yes.
But Amruta, the interesting part is if he wins
Hmm.
and if Kramnik wins, which Kramnik is out now 2 out of 2, he will face Kramnik next round.
Wow. Oh, that would be so much fun. Actually, that could be very close to reality.
So I feel that Nihal Kramnik. What is your thoughts, guys? Nihal versus Kramnik, which is most likely to happen. Who do you think is the favorite there?
Junaid says, Agarwai, 2 days back, I have won my university chess tournament. Pre-pandemic, I just knew how the pieces move. All thanks to you and Samay.
Well done, Junaid.
Amazing.
Keep it up. अभी तो रेटिंग भी लेना है.
Stand up comedy में भी part लेना, there also will win. Yes. Right? We are, guys, are you watching those videos of chess boxing on our channel? Maybe they can also have 3 minutes of chess and 3 minutes of comedy. 1 minute of comedy. De-stress and then come back to play chess.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Maybe we can try that as a next exhibition match.
Chess comedy.
Yeah. Next exhibition match.
So, I think Amruta, people are thinking that Kramnik and Nihal match is going to be very close, but I feel that Nihal is the heavy favorite.
Absolutely, same as you. Because he is so much in touch currently. Obviously, Kramnik's experience is another level. But let's see. No, Kramnik versus Nihal chess boxing, nahi, Vivek. That's a big misunderstanding.
Then Kramnik will win.
There is no doubt. Unless Nihal runs very fast.
So in the F group,
Yeah.
Amruta, here F group,
Game शुरू नहीं हुआ रहेगा ना? Because I think that's something which we should take care of.
no. So in the F group, Amruta,
Yeah.
we have Anish versus Ju Wenjun. So Anish will most likely win. Then we have Topalo, Raunak Sadhwani. Let's ask the chat, what about Topalo, Raunak Sadhwani?
Okay, what about Topalo, Raunak Sadhwani?
I think Raunak is the favorite.
Right now, all the youngsters are the favorites for sure. Vignesh says Topalo, Saswat says Raunak, Utsav says Raunak.
I think Raunak.
But you know what?
Gukesh is not playing, guys, because Gukesh heavily believes in playing classical chess. And so he's going for Spanish League.
Yeah, it will be a close match. That's what. Ujilala Shri Charan says, how do you guys provide chess coaching? How to join chess-based coaching?
You can go to academy.chessbase.in and there is very good learning material.
Siddharth Ranadive, member for 22 months, pillar of Indian chess. Wow, that's huge, no?
Thank you, Siddharth.
Hi Sagar Amrita, congratulations on 1 million subs. What changes, if any, have you started experiencing on reaching 1 million in terms of YouTube content creation experience? What's your next target now?
We don't have any target. I think keeping a target, next one could be 10 million. But okay, if you go step by step, then 2 millions. Seems like a logical one. But जो 1 million पे खुशी हुआ था वो वापस 2 million पे नहीं होगा इतना. But फिर भी it will be a next step. And I think one of the things that we have...
double खुशी होना चाहिए ना, 1 into 2.
One of the things that we are thinking is maybe we can have our own events also to create content out, like we did deathmatch, something of that sort. And along with Nodwin and Samay, we plan to do Chess Super League again. Then we plan to do chess prize money events for all the players, like all the entire community. That will help in the community also winning prize money. That's why.
Yeah, and apart from that, 1 million is a number which I think any random person also understands. So that's nice to always say 1 million subscribers. So thanks to all of you guys, of course, not without you guys. IPW Laws is a member for 10 months. He's a booster of Indian chess and says, Sagar bhai, have you made predictions for the $100K prediction contest? If yes, what were yours?
Yeah, I made just for fun. I made like Hikaru wins, then David Navara wins, then Dominguez, Le Quang Liem. And I think in that bracket, Hikaru goes to the quarters. Then from the second bracket, I think I made Duda go to the quarters. In the third bracket,
you're not going to remember 60 predictions.
No, I'm just saying about
just
the
tell the finals what you felt.
Yeah, I had actually thought it will be finals between Nihal and Arjun, something like this.
No, alright.
मैं लेता हूँ. Now, if Amruta comes in, then I must adjust the frame. How should I adjust the... No. No, please. No, please. होता ना, like once you get married, you need a bigger house. Same way in streaming. Maybe this is good. Itna space mein. It's not a prediction, it's a wish. I don't think Nihal versus Arjun is a wish. It's possible. It is. Let's go to the game. Nihal plays e4, c5, knight f3. Now last game. Amruta, please, I've made space for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I think you not just ask for space, but you also give space.
This space is such, Amruta, that you are also not there, I am also not there.
Open Sicilian! क्या बात है?
नहीं
Awesome,
हुआ,
guys.
नहीं हुआ.
नहीं?
Knight c6, bishop b5. Rosolimo.
Too soon, but take it, at least Sicilian. Brosolimo, bishop b5, g6, castle, bishop g7, c3, knight f6, rook e1, e5. e5 is not a worry, yeah? d4, queen b6. यहाँ पे सागर basic question, e5 black is not worried about. Any idea?
Can you press alt? छोड़ दो अभी.
Yeah.
e5 knight d5.
So e5 is nothing to worry because knight d5, and here if you go d4 it's just a normal.
cd.
ठीक है. White doesn't really achieve much here. Then what happened? He played d4, queen b6.
Oh.
You want to you take.
Yeah.
D takes c6. And now white played a very calm move h3, stopping bishop g4 because it would have really put a lot of pressure on the d4 square, d4 pawn. Nice move. And then black is thinking here, what should he play? Naturally comes to the mind something like rook d8, putting pressure on d4.
So Amrita, once you are successful in life,
Okay.
you don't need to do too many things. You just need to sustain your success. Right? You don't need to try to do newer things.
Okay.
The same way, white was successful in life because of his central pawns. Okay. So what it has to do is now preserve these central pawns. One of the pieces that is going to be very dangerous is this bishop, which will come and take off this knight. And then this pawn will become weak. So h3 is more like saying to the pawn on d4 कि भाई अपुन तेरा दोस्त है.
Wow.
I'm your good friend.
Nice, Sagar. Very nice. मजा आ गया. क्या ही स्टोरी बताई है? Do you consider yourself successful or how is it? Huh?
I consider myself successful. So I am like, if Amruta is there with me doing commentary, we are sitting there, we are together. Nice.
Okay.
I don't have to do much.
Trying to cover up the first part today where you kind of messed up. Great. SP says Sagar creating content for Sagar Shah memes. Dibangar Devnadas, if Nihal wins, will the fourth game be played?
I don't think.
No. So Mamedov is down to 12 minutes, and I think this is the first time, at least when I'm here, that he is low on time. Then Nihal with black, which means that he really has to win this game, and he's trying to see क्या कर सकता हूँ. Dynamic thinking here is important. Chess, when you're playing for win on demand, is way different than just a normal game.
Correct.
Okay.
I think what Nihal wants to do is play queen c2. And guys, can anyone tell me why do I play queen c2? Oh, he's played rook d8, queen c2.
Yeah.
Can
Now
anyone say why queen c2?
Why queen c2? In the meantime, Vishwanath says, can you call Raja if possible? It's been ages since he has been on stream.
I think Raja is preparing for his tournament with Vidit is playing.
Unpinning because to protect B2.
Yes.
Mukul,
Who says B2?
Mukul Mangan.
Very good.
Abhijit Chauhan, Animesh Katare. Nice.
Very nice move, by the way, C5. Actually, in a way, you are sacrificing a full pawn, and it is in the spirit of the Grunfeld. Because in the Grunfeld, you give up the C5 pawn often to break the center, to open up the bishop. And in a way, just you are telling white that you don't have so many possibilities. I'm going to play bishop e6, rook c8, knight d7, and I'll win back the c5 pawn when I'll be better.
Okay, so at that point of time, you will also have this double bishop advantage, correct?
Yeah.
But Sagar, the pawn structure, if you look at after you win the c5 pawn, black has no scope to get a passer. So that's the reason I was thinking that c5, is it going to give enough dynamic play for a win on demand?
No, I don't know. I mean, it's not
Or
win
or
on demand,
any-
yes, yet, because draw is okay.
Draw is okay.
Yeah, draw means
Another game, yeah?
Yeah, another game. So its demand means his draw is going to lose the match for him, but that's not the case.
तो इसके पहले क्यों नहीं बताया जब मैंने बोला क्वीन c6 ठीक है. Where do you develop your knight? Guys, development तो करना है, बहुत slow चल रहा है. These rooks are absolutely in long distance relationship waiting to get connected.
No, also the main problem here is that Amruta, bishop e3, which defends the c5 pawn, has a problem. Can anyone tell me what the problem is after bishop e3? Vignesh says, so happy for you guys for reaching 1 million. It's time to take the next step. Have more CBI tournaments. Excited for the future. Thank you. Yes, Anil Thakur, you are right. E4 pawn is hanging. Sai Arvind, Padaya Kalpesh, Vijay Kumar Palasa this is hanging. So you cannot play bishop e3. So you see, Amruta, there is some practical issues to solve.
Okay, so let's go knight c3, but then this is hanging. If you go knight c3, c5 is hanging.
Yeah.
White may as well think if he wants to give it back. The other thing to consider is anything like e5 would be played. This knight comes to d5, and then can you develop the bishop? But still not a very good square. Instead, Sagar, this move comes to the mind. Bishop g5
e5,
with the idea of e5.
There could be an intermediate move, bishop f5. So I don't think
Yeah.
e5 is a good idea.
E5 looks scary, like you really need to be precise in your calculation. But I like bishop g5. The reason is my bishop is developed. I have a direct threat,
Which is?
e5.
E5, bishop f5, I still don't see the point.
Queen c4. I will show you the
Knight
point.
d5.
Oh, you are defending e7 pawn.
Yeah. I think what about bishop f4, Amruta? Just putting the bishop on a good square here. I think that also looks nice.
Yeah.
So Nihal has many possibilities, but a very nice idea is also to give back the pawn. Because then queen takes c5, you can get a tempo with bishop e3, you have finished your development. And yeah, it's a nice position, rook a d1. So I think Nihal can just be very calm because his opponent wants to win. So he can just play calmly here with knight c3.
But few people in the chat are asking why not b4. b4 at the first instance.
We can
ये
also
तो
ask
बहुत
our chat.
डर गया है, रुक ऐसे डरा हुआ है कि भूत आने वाला है करके.
Yeah, also knight e4, I mean, directly, I think.
Yeah.
And this is hanging. So I don't see that is a good idea to play. Look at Nihal's move. Knight b d2. So Nihal wants to go knight to b3 to defend his pawn, and then bishop comes out to f4 or g5. That's his plan.
Oh, I can see another plan, Sagar. Rook b1, b4. Bishop develops to b2.
Hmm?
Very interesting.
Sorry?
What? Rook b1, b4, bishop b2.
Yeah, if you get the time.
You get the time.
इतना time कैसे है?
Who's stopping you?
Hmm.
Yeah, you're just directly starting to attack. Then I
By the
don't
way,
have
he
the
played
time.
bishop e6, Amruta. He played
Yeah,
his
now rook b1 anyway is not possible. Bishop e2. टाइम है ही नहीं जीरो टाइम थोड़ा भी टाइम नहीं है बिल्कुल
But
ही
अब
टाइम
knight
नहीं है
b3, Amruta.
Shubham Gupta, we will talk, we'll let you know about the wellness center after the game is finished. Sagar, do tell me.
But they know it, right? It is in Atmantan, near Pune. It's a very,
No, it was how it was your experience. That is what
it was good. We liked it, and we got to know a few things about our health and how we can work on it. And I think for all those who are keen on having their health sort of understanding what is going right, what is going wrong, sort of reassessing your health, then it's a good thing to try.
So bishop e6 right now, white has to play, white has to move this knight, and this is the only logical square you can go to, knight b3. At some point, black needs to be careful about this tempo with knight e5. अचानक से ये बंदा भी इधर आ सकता है, so that is one more thing. Nihal is thinking is down to 8 minutes 35 seconds. What about e5? It's a move where you don't like to give away this square. That is one of the major problem with e5. So e5 should come, is possible, but should come at a more precise time. The best way to continue would be to go knight b3. Defend this so that if rook a c8 is played, white has options to bring one of the knights to d4. Which knight actually? Can you go knight f d4 so that c5 is protected? But guys, there is a move for black over here. Intermediate move. Can you suggest? तो अगर क्या खेलना चाहिए ब्लैक ने यहाँ पे?
Bishop takes b3 नहीं है.
That was very quick. Padaya, Saurabh, Ishan, Aniket. Yes, this is a very good move. Bishop b3 because you cannot play this because bishop c2 aa raha hai, and then you are gonna knight e7 is still there, but at the end of it, if you count the material, black has two pieces for the rook, so it's possible. So bishop e6 agar I was telling them that knight b3 only looks logical, and after that one of the knight could come to d4. That is something which black should take care of.
But you know, Amruta,
But it's not an easy position for white to play. I feel because of
here the moves.
here.
Upar.
You know, Sagar, it doesn't feel so comfortable for white because pieces are not moving with a flow.
Right.
So this is Nihal has to get out of that pressure which black is having on him
So,
in
you
some
know,
way
Amrita,
or the other.
The thing is that if you want to achieve something in life, right, then you will have to sort of work for it. Same way like how Nihal has an extra pawn. So he is working hard to now develop. Black is one pawn down, so he has free flowing development. So now Nihal goes knight g5 to take the bishop on e6. He's like, you can win back your pawn, but I'll get the bishop pair. So rook a c8. He's taken on e6. So actually speaking, if you go back, instead of rook a c8,
Yeah.
could black have attacked the c5 pawn in another way, which was knight d7?
In any case,
We will
knight
take.
e6.
I won't take with the pawn because that weakens it. So queen takes. And I want to go rook c8 and knight c5 then next move. So this was also one way to continue.
No, but can I not defend it? Now the thing is knight stays on b3. Nobody is going to take it. You will go rook c8. Still, your threat is to go b6 in future. But I have time for bishop e3. And if you now attack this pawn with b6, I can't play c6. But
Yeah,
can I just continue with rook c1?
This is how I think the game might end in a draw, or at least equality.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
now if bishop c5, queen a2 is also in.
I thought bishop d4 was the problem. No, huh?
B4 maybe.
Bishop d4, you have b4. Yeah, you are retaining. Queen a2 if I play,
B4.
then also b4.
I mean,
Okay,
I
it's
think
equal.
black is equal. So this is where I think could be possible, but he went rook a c8, and Nihal took on e6, queen e6, and if we look at the time, he's gone knight f3. Nihal has 4 minutes 50 seconds. Rauf Mamedov has 9 minutes, and clearly this position looks roundabout even. So I think Mamedov can be very happy with what he has got here. Look, here's the variation now. Knight f3. I go knight d7. I'm attacking your pawn on c5. How do you defend it?
Yeah, bishop a3 is forced.
If you go bishop e3, I will now take here, and now I will ask the chat, what is the move here for black? Guys, try to find what is the best move here for black to play. Yes, absolutely right for all the people here.
Pranshu,
says
Pranshav, Aditya, Padaya, Abhijit, Four Squares, Aradhya, Mayank. Yep.
Saurabh
Ajay,
and
you have
Aditya.
there, huh?
Well done.
तो मेरे से क्यों इतना नाम बुलवाए?
परफेक्ट बोला तुमने, वो मैं देख के एकदम सरप्राइज हो गया कि यू रेड ऑल द नेम्स करेक्टली.
Oh, great, great. Thank you, thank you. काफी इंटरेस्टिंग गेम चल रहा है इन अ वे, इन अ सटल वे. There's a lot of pressure in the position still.
c5 pawn पे पूरा.
Hmm.
It's very common to Grunfeld, because in Grunfeld, if we go back and see the analysis here, like d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, d5, cd, knight d5, e4, takes, bishop g7, knight f3. Black hits with c5 and often gives up this pawn, so that you can break up the structure and also open up the bishop.
That's why you're saying Grunfeld again and again. I was not understanding because the B file is open here. So I thought, how come?
No,
But
it's
actually,
it's mainly
the
about
concept
the
is very similar.
hitting the center.
Hitting the center.
And guys, you will realize that how hitting the center is actually quite a good idea, good concept here for black.
Dr. Narayan Shankar asks, who is your favorite chess player?
My favorite. It keeps changing all the time.
Mood pe dependent.
But I would say my first favorite player in chess was Capablanca. I really liked him. Okay, he goes queen c6. And now Amruta, will Nihal Sarin have the courage to push his pawn to b4?
Courage की कमी नहीं है. Would he be in that mood
take
to give that material?
no, so b4, Did he play before?
No.
Amruta, he played. Amruta,
Oh,
he
he played.
He played. Wow.
So
And the
he's
point
in a
was
very good mood right now.
if you take, he would have just played bishop b2. Wow.
And then
Beautiful.
Sagar, exactly, the pawn structure is now very imbalanced because white has a possibility of creating a passer on the queen side. Also, the dark squares for black can become weaker with the exchange of the bishops. Brilliant. Very nice play by Nihal.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
Beautiful. Loved that move. And actually, very right response by Rauf Mamedov. He goes b6. And now Nihal's move is very clear to me. Amruta, what would you play as white? I think for me, it's very clear.
Yeah, not bishop b2.
Well, bishop b2, b takes c5.
c1, c4. Knight e5 you have. 1 second.
No, I don't like.
Bishop e3.
Look at
Then
this
knight.
move. Rook b1. I remove the rook from this. And when you take on c5, I go b5.
Oh.
And then you are left with a small weakness here, which could become a strength, but right now a weakness. And I have like a outside passed pawn creation ability.
That's way too far, right? Because of that a7 pawn.
Yes, it is far, but don't
Very
you think
tough
that?
to assess, Sagar.
Don't you think rook
it was a
b1
brilliant
is just
question. Very nice, because rook b1 I did not consider here. Also, not that even if I consider it, it requires tremendous assessment and understanding to go for it. So let's see whether Nihal goes for rook b1. I mean, of course, there are other possibilities as well, as I believe.
But Nihal has only 2.5 minutes. 2 minutes 30 seconds. And Rauf has 6 minutes 40 seconds.
2.5 minute fight के.
Tudun, 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 tudun,
खेला?
tudun, tudun,
आज निहाल का
tudun,
मूड बहुत अच्छा है.
tudun.
Nihal is in a very
Beautiful mood. Beautiful. Happy mood.
great.
Oh, he took on c5, but he took here. Amruta. Why didn't he play b5?
Maybe he's not being very ambitious then, or does he like his position with the rook on 7th rank?
Yeah, rook b7 played.
Still, how do you defend? You're losing one pawn, correct? It's just black is gonna get some composition, or rook d7 is there. Can you go rook d7? Oops, wait. Oh, obviously.
Check.
Guys, typical back rank blunder. Okay.
So Nihal, for giving back the pawn, now has gained a small activity with rook b7. He's attacking these two pawns. Rook a5 played, attacking a2. Well, if you take on e7, he will take on a2.
So go a3. A3.
A3? Possible. Then I maybe have to defend rook e8. But yeah, I think logical is to save your pawn.
Yeah, you can't give that pawn away. No.
Yeah.
Shashwat Parida says, Sagar Bhai, from 19 November, world team will take place in Israel. Will the Indian team be Hari, VD, Arjun, Gukesh and Prag according to rating? Too early to say, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think from what I have understood, the players have not yet got any confirmation from AICF, because World Teams is an event that is all the selection and everything, even the costs are borne by the federation. So e5, knight d5 played, Amruta, and now I think the only logical move is rook b7. Otherwise, you lose your rook.
Sorry. Abhi knight d5 aaya na? I blundered. Big time.
So rook to b7 played. Now the idea is bishop g5.
For Nihal, if he has to get any kind of advantage, his knight needs to go to g5, right? And then somehow वहाँ पे वो something related with the pawn on f7 and
Yeah,
the e5
I think
pawn.
you
But
are
that is
right,
all
Amrita. Knight
to
g5, bishop g5, e6 in the air. Mainly Nihal is actually, believe it or not, trying for some kind of a attack, because the a pawn passer is a very strong asset for black,
So अब
and
भी
it's a
start
very long term asset. So if Nihal doesn't do something now, like and black is able to sort of solidify h6, then starts pushing the pawn, I think Nihal can get into some trouble. And Rauf Mamedov needs to figure out how to continue here. Should you
No, but
push?
that's what if a5 right now, is it a problem? Like, does he have to face any problem?
I think one of the big problems is this pin here. So maybe it is a wise idea to move the rook, which he does with rook e8. And now rook e8 means the knight cannot be pinned. Also, there is pressure on e5, so you don't want to move the knight. Not at all easy, Amrita, to figure out what should.
Yeah, because even the bishop on c1, look at it. It cannot really develop very easily apart from the g5 square. Maybe bishop
Look
b2. Why not bishop b2?
He played bishop d2. Just
I don't
controlling.
understand this though.
Controlling these squares.
mean,
Amrita,
bishop b2 would have
how was
defended
rook
e5.
d1? Because if knight c3,
Rook d7, knight e2 check. Over.
this is hanging.
No, knight e2 check is also there. Why not bishop b2, Sagar?
Yeah, possible to play bishop b2. I think it's a nice square for the bishop.
a5.
But then maybe the knight gets f4 to d3. So that's why Nihal decided that let me put my bishop on d2, where it controls f4, c3, b4, everything.
All the squares. Because that knight is a lot putting pressure on white now. No, this is hard to get anything out of it for white.
Well, you never know, Amrita. You never know.
e6 also people are asking, and then bishop g5, but e6 पहले रहेगा.
Nihal has only 43 seconds. Rauf Mamedov has 3 minutes 20 seconds. I think for Nihal, it's become quite customary now to come down to like few seconds.
What would he be thinking, Mamedov? What are his options there? What are his options?
I don't even see a very good move. I want to play a5, Amrita, but then
But
rook
rook
b5.
b5. So that bishop d2 actually clearly stops the simple idea of a5 because of the simple
I think
tactic.
h6 makes a lot of sense because h6 stops knight g5.
But do you think it's going to be weak like all the time that bishop on g7 has to be guarding? Oh no, he plays h6.
He played h6.
And now we have to find a move for Nihal.
I like rook c1 with the idea of coming in, but rook
there is
c1
d5 knight,
you also lose the e5 pawn perhaps.
Maybe king h2, but then f2 becomes weak.
Actually, for both sides,
Rook
not so
b5
easy to find
or
a move.
rook d7. How about
Rook d7 or rook b5? He goes rook c1. He plays it.
your move?
He plays it. But what if I take here? Maybe he wants to go rook to b5. Attacking like this.
Oh, tactics.
If knight moves, this is hanging. Oof.
Be alert for tactics.
But it's not really hanging because knight f6. If you take here, take here, take here, then d2 is hanging. So it's not so simple.
Now rook c8. No, it's not over. Rook c8 check. King g7, rook c7.
Yeah.
And do you want to play a5?
No, this might be dangerous. Yeah, you are right. So maybe Nihal is looking at such moves. Rook c1, bishop f8 played. And he goes g3. Very nice move. Stopping knight f4 plans. And now a5 played.
Again a5. So
But
now
rook
if
b5,
rook b5, knight b4.
No, rook b5 he played a4. No, he played rook a7. That was not the best. Actually, rook b5 was the best move. But he went rook a7, a4,
Because
rook
he has
a5.
only 5 seconds.
Yeah, he has
He's
very
only
little
5
time.
seconds.
He's
No, I think this is a very difficult position to play. If Nihal can fight this,
Nihal is actually trying to
this
win
is
that pawn on
amazing.
on a4.
Rook c4. How a3 you will play? But for a3, maybe rook d4 is a pin problem.
Yeah.
Or maybe black doesn't care because rook a1 check. And a2. Yes. Rook d4. Rook a1 check. King g2. a2. You cannot take on d5. Quick question to you all. Why can't white take on d5?
No, because he'll just make a queen.
Just, okay, just be rook g1 check is not needed.
Yeah.
Got it. Taking back the good question. Good thing is, oh, he played a3 now. Nihal has 3 seconds.
Rook
Play
d4,
fast,
rook
Nihal.
d4, rook
Come on,
d4.
come on. No, this is something. No, he cannot lose on time.
No, you won't have.
King g2. He's
King
played.
g2 played. He finds
Rook d4.
rook b2, rook d4. Nice. Getting intense here. a2.
a2, rook a4.
Oh, is that losing a pawn?
No, knight. Okay, knight b4.
Knight
bishop
b4, knight
bishop
b4.
b4.
Yeah, bishop b4, rook a2.
Right. But how is the move rook d2, knight d2, bishop b4 still?
Yeah, possible. Possible. I think black must now quickly try to equalize in some way or the other.
Even he is down on time. 8 seconds.
Oh, he's just
so
has.
This is a bullet
This
game
happened.
now.
This happened. He played bishop b4, rook a2, rook d2, knight d2. Okay, and Nihal is now a pawn up. But yeah, he has managed to exchange. So knight d2, knight e3, fe3, bishop a5, rook a5, and rook d2, king f3. So the rook endgame looks very straightforward and is drawish. It's not a drawn position, but a drawish position. But now he has a passer here.
Drawish.
Yeah, generally passer being so close to the black king should not be winning.
Yeah, this is. Bachpan mein Sagar, in early childhood days, when the parents used to watch the games, they only used to count the material. And if it is equal, they would say, drawish hai, drawish hai.
And how would the parents say about this position?
वो pawn down hai, pawn down. So they would worry. The only thing they would know is
I
material.
think what Nihal is hoping for is getting king f4, king g5. Then somehow this checks.
So they are going to fight with 5 seconds on hand.
Well, Nihal has no reason to accept the draw, right? Because he's a pawn up.
If king e6, it's a blunder. Rook g7. Not really. Not yet. King e6 was okay, right?
Yeah.
Could white play for king e6 agar e5? Rook e5, rook e7, king e7.
I get a very dangerous feeling for Mamedov now. He has to go king g7, which he will, because his pawn is hanging. But look at this. Rook f4 check, and Nihal has taken the risk giving up a pawn. Now maybe he pushes because the rook is defending this way.
Oh, it's
Oh,
a blunder.
blunder. Rook g4, h4, e6. Nihal is winning.
e6, g3.
No, sorry, Amruta. Rook g4. Oh, he didn't play it. He trusted his opponent because rook g4, h4, king e4 was winning.
King f7, king f4, king e6, king g4, king e5, king g5. King e6. Oh, yeah. Oh, that endgame is winning. But how? I don't believe he'll miss it.
Draw.
Show it again, yeah? After it's done.
Draw. So This was the moment where
Rook
Nihal
g4.
could take pawn. No, not
Not
this.
this. One move before. Rook g4.
Rook g4, rook g4,
H4, king e4, you are saying. Now
king
with king
e4.
f7.
Sorry,
King,
king e4, king f7,
yeah, this is king
king
f4,
f4,
king
king
e6,
e6,
king g4, king e5, king g5. The king is not reaching f8, guys. King e7, king g7.
So with this, the game ends in a draw, which means that Mamedov
Ah.
lives for another game, and the score is
Hmm.
2-1 in the favor of Nihal. The opportunity presented itself right at the very end, but there was no time to calculate, and Nihal decided to trust his opponent, which is never a good idea. The game ended in a draw. And now the next game will start in a few minutes. Amrita, I'll just join you,
Yes.
please.
So but until that time, I will be talking to the chat. Guys, what's up? सबके घर पे गणपति वगैरह हो गया क्या अभी? What's coming up next? Exams. Exams भी हुए रहेंगे, I believe. Anything new, any creative ideas anybody of you are working on? Are you traveling? Are you going to be watching any? Planning to watch any interesting chess events? Planning to play kya? No, I haven't watched the movie yet. Jeeves says chess boxing. Avni says I earned $100 by converting some score sheets into PGN files. Spent 15 hours. Oh, that's very cool. Very nice. Which tournament score sheets were you actually converting? Preparing for CAT exam. Foursquare says planning to play a tournament in Rajasthan. Maybe you're planning to play Bikaner Open. Very nice. Arnav is traveling to Maldives. Wonderful. शतरंज की खिलाड़ी movie I watched. How is it? Right says it was great to meet you in Bangalore, Waka. Oh, amazing that we met. Of course, there were a lot of people, so I'm not going to remember the names, but so good that you were able to come there. Avni says it was some German guy. I did his game score sheets. Score क्या है? Score is updated. I think it's Mamedov is on 1, whereas Nihal is on 2 points, and this is the final game where we will know whether it is ending or it is going into the Armageddon. Play Chess with me is also going to play the Raipur tournament. Amazing. I think a lot of tournaments are coming up from nationals to even state tournaments and this Grandmaster Open. So, if at all you guys get some time, if you have never played any tournament, do take part, because playing an event is such an another ball game, because the stress levels you can never feel at home. Pranshal says I played in a chess tournament in my college and lost in the first round. Okay, then the next ones. Earlier many players had this thing. They will lose first round and then they will win all the remaining rounds. And they will actually become the champion. Arnav says I live in Paris. Do you know Amrita? I kind of guessed with your French comments, which I was trying to understand because I studied French, but obviously I was super bad at it. Tomorrow there is same Vishy will be playing tomorrow at the same time at 4:30. So please do join in, guys. Shashwat Parida says in July I played for my school team in inter-school tournament and we were able to reach the quarters. Wonderful. Deeptak Das, any OTB tournaments in Mumbai for unrated players? Not that I'm aware of. Guys, also keep a watch. If the games begin, do let me know. बाकी क्या चल रहा है? We went to this wellness center and it was very very interesting because over there it was quite a big challenge in terms of how much to eat and what to eat. We Sagar decided to switch off the phone. I think it is the first time we did something like this. It was a big challenge again there, and that's why we could actually fall off to sleep at around 9:30, 10. It was very funny. And normally I used to sleep normally at around 3 or 4, but over here I started sleeping in 9:30 and 10. So it was very cool to understand that I can sleep soon and I can wake up soon if I sleep soon. So, Graham Pawar says cake was cut on Flashbin Gaming channel with a 24-hour stream for 1 million celebration. Oh, that is, yeah, I got to know about that, and that was so amazing to do that. 24-hour streaming is not at all easy, very difficult. So, all of you guys and that whole group who keeps, streaming is very nice. I think Sagar had come there. Thanks to all of you. Samay also reached 1 million, and it's a great journey together. Santosh asks, so can you tell where is the Chessbiz India Club? Yeah, it is in Phoenix Mall at Kurla in Mumbai. Sophia Satpati, hi, watching a stream during my office hours. Nice to see you. And then now we are going to have a lot of events. I think Tata Steel in Kolkata is going to be a lot of fun because this time they also have this women's event along with the men's event. And we are also planning to do some events around that time. Let's see how it works out. Phoenix Mall, obviously, we are going to come. I think after 10 days or so, Sagar is going to travel to Delhi and he has a talk there. There is this YouTube Educon. So it is for the creators who are educating in different ways. So because ChessBiz India is educating chess, that's why he was invited, which is going to be nice. Rahul also says me too watching during office hours. I'm also hoping your boss is also right there so that they get to know and then okay, game started. Let's look at the game. Game has started. Oops. Oh, few moves have been played just beginning. Sagar Shah, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop e5. We have Rai Lopez on the board. Bishop a4, knight f6, knight c3. The recently popular line, I believe. Knight c3, bishop c5, d3, d6. Let me check for 10 seconds to find Sagar Shah.
And guys, this is the final game of the rapid time control. We have Vladimir Kramnik, who simply rushed through with a 3-0 win over Rant Melkumian. Nihal this time playing with black. This time, instead of playing the Italian, his opponent goes for the Rui Lopez. And we have a very standard position on the board. He takes, and this time it's Rauf who has the open file, F file. Last time, you remember, Nihal had the open F file. Okay, this is very interesting. Castles has happened. Nihal Sarin now as a typical idea, and this he's going to do. Guys, what is the typical idea in this position? Now, very quickly, before Nihal makes his move, can you find it? So, typical idea kya hota hai? That this knight is not very happy on this square. So, you reroute it to a square where it will be happier. And what is that square? What is that square? Chess D, very good. Tejas C1, very good. See, Santosh Varankar, when you play a move like knight G4, you want to attack this pawn. Very good that you spotted it's undefended. You should also think whether your opponent can defend that pawn or not. After queen e2, he can defend it very easily. Then your knight will be kicked away because there is no other piece to attack. So that's the reason why knight G4 not, but the move is knight E7. And that is the point. You play your knight to E7 and then you put your knight on G6 where it is better placed. So I think that knight E7 is a very typical idea. But here yes, he plays it. Here you are little bit apprehensive of putting the knight on G6 because the F4 square is controlled by the pawn. If this pawn was back on F2, then this becomes even more thematic. So now we have knight H4. This is very, very interesting because now he has managed to not stop. Oh, but knight G6, knight F5, of course. See, guys, देखो कैसे how the game works. If you go bishop E6 and now knight H4, it does not work because of a tactic in the position. What is the typical tactic? Whenever knight goes here, look, the queen is attacking. And there can be a discovered attack, which is what is the discovered attack? Come on, quickly. Praful Sharma, very good. Jaideep Shetty, excellent job. PL Kanti Ghosh, Saptarshi Maiti, Debrup Das, Hemant, Urvin Savla. You just take here and then this is hanging. Now, when you played knight e7, you will see that thoda connection mein there is a piece in between. So quickly knight h4. Now there is no knight e4 because the queen can't see the knight. There is a knight in between. Nihal goes knight g6 and now Rauf Mamedov is actually thinking, should he take here? Should he take here and double the pawns or should he come to f5? These are the two options. Knight f5 played. I'm beginning to worry a bit about Nihal's position, but Nihal in particular is not worried. He goes c6. Nihal is a man with nerves of steel. Huh? He is okay with the knight. You know, he could have taken it. He could have taken the knight on f5. And I think that was a nice decision to just take it. But instead he goes c6, bishop b3. Still he can take it. But he goes bishop e6. Now, more time the knight remains on f5, it's a bit worrisome because, here, yeah, queen f3, now threatening knight h6, check, g h6. See, knight h6, g h6, and queen takes f6 is hanging. And you don't want to play now bishop f5 because you played bishop e6. Next move you're going to take, that's not going to work out. So queen f3 on the board. Guys, do you think that Nihal is in small trouble here? Because if Nihal loses this game, we will get into an Armageddon. PL says d8 pe queen hai. How is it hanging? But there's rook on f1, no? So there will be two attackers here. I think first Nihal can just spoil the structure a little bit. You see? A little bit of a structure is spoiled. And then he can save this knight. Maybe knight h7 or knight e8. These are the two ideas. The quality is too low, Sagar sir. What is too low? My stream quality? Really? There was this one beautiful story of a lady who was, um, you know, watching from her window and saying that the world is very dirty. And then people were like, but no, it's not dirty. And she's like, no, it's very dirty. And she's like, but everyone's trying to explain to her, no, it's very clean. You see, it's outside nice. And then they realized that the women's, that lady's window was only not cleaned. So sometimes when you say that the stream is in low quality, it is quite possible that your internet is not so good. Okay, king h7 played here. And now knight e2. Now the knight is coming here. Okay. Look. Here, Nihal is going to play a very cool move. Okay. I think he'll play it. What he will do is he will bring his knight to g8. Huh? Ye knight aayega g3 pe. And I was thinking, I don't think it works, but I was thinking if we can go knight h8. And the point is, ये दोनों knight ऐसे बैठ गए side में. But I want to go g6 next. Oh, that's the plan. Knight h8, knight g8. Plan is g6. Roop Speak says, Sagar bhai, do you think Nihal is falling back against other Indian prodigies like Gukesh and all when it comes to classical? Well, we can't say that, right? Because he won a gold medal. Okay, he took, and now knight e8. So Nihal has a similar idea. He's played instead of knight g8, knight e8. The reason I wanted to play knight g8 is that this h6 pawn remains protected. But okay, knight e8 also nice. After the Olympiad, how can anyone say that Nihal is not playing so well in classical? Because he won a gold medal on board too. And this is what I think many experts discussed. It's only because of Gukesh's phenomenal performance that Nihal's gold medal winning second board performance is slightly under spoken about. Because everyone was like, Gukesh, 8 out of 8, beating Fabiano Caruana, beating Gabriel Sargisian, beating all these top players. But actually, Nihal Sarin also was unbeaten on board too and won the gold medal. So I don't see that Nihal actually, I mean, he's also moving up quickly now. He's 2677, if I'm not wrong, his rating. And I think he will very quickly reach 2700. And also, guys, you can look at the quality of the moves. Now, even if it is online chess, offline chess, whatever it is, the number of moves that you play accurately. Like, for example, if he plays the move 97 here, which is the best move in the position, be it online chess, offline chess, how does it matter? At the end of the day, this is a good move. And this Pragnananda has also shown at the Champions Chess Tour by playing really well. And although his rating has not really reached 2720, 2730, it's clearly showing that he's very strong. So I think all of these players are very, very powerful. And hopefully we can organize some event like maybe the Chess Super League or something where they all kind of play against each other. I think there has not been an event where they all have played against each other. It would be a nice one just to see who does well against. But okay, I mean, it's a nice concept somewhere to try. Yeah, Nihal has been unbeaten for more than 40 classical games. That's a nice one. Amazing. Okay, queen to h3 played now. Looking here. अब क्या करेंगे निहाल सरीन निहाल you have to go 97 actually 97 I think Nihal can also think about queen g5 because that was one of the reasons why he went 98 I think to defend d6 so now queen g5 is also possible because they go queen g5 pe there is no piece that can attack it instantly you can play rook f3 rook g3 but it's two moves so let's say if I go queen here rook f3 97 rook g3 maybe queen f6 Siddharth says yeah Harishankar Radhakrishnan that's what I think queen g5 queen b6 Uttam I feel somehow this might not sorry Rupesh this might not be the right direction to put your queen. Let's say queen b6. I mean, yes, you are putting pressure here and here, but I am a little apprehensive because your queen is going far away from this sphere. And with two knights, one rook queen, I don't want to leave my queen alone, king alone. Sorry. And also the fact that you are 1 point up in the match, you really don't want to take risks. And it's at these moments that I feel that Nihal sometimes takes too much time. Goes queen g5. He finds this move. I mean the other move was 97. And I don't know what was it that Nihal did not like about this move 97. Because clearly there are no sacrificial possibilities at that moment. But maybe he didn't like knight g3. The other knight comes in. So he went queen g5. Okay. Now he will go 97 next move. Ding Lijen and Le Tuan Min are on 1.5 points each. And in their match, right now the fourth and the final game is also roundabout equal, but I think Ding's position slightly preferable. You see, he has the pressure down the c file. Also, there are some weaknesses here, so I think Ding Liren slightly preferable there. Srinivas says, Sagar bhai, how can white attack somehow? Not seeing any concrete lines. Um, I don't know. I think what I feel just that this knight is in a good position, rook is in a good position. The hot spots are g7 and h6, where some sacrifices can happen. You go like knight g3, knight h5, and then something comes up because you can't always calculate everything. So rook f3 played, and now Nihal seems to have made a key error. Yeah, here he should have gone knight e7, but he plays knight f6, and that is a huge blunder. I mean, huge error, not a blunder, huge error. Because okay, Nihal prepared, I believe, for the move rook g3 by queen h5. He prepared for it nicely. But what he did not prepare is for rook a f1 now. Good move. Good move. And all of a sudden, this is getting nasty now. I think Nihal Sarin is under pressure, guys. Bahut pressure. Big pressure. It's okay, let's try to explain why this is dangerous. Firstly, let's say if it was white's move here, okay, let's say I make a random move, rook a d8, then white can already threaten knight takes g7, king takes g7, and rook takes f6. Okay, so that is happening. So you may think, can I go queen h5? But the problem is that I will take, and now I just lose this pawn here, right, on d6. Or even just rook h3, knight f6, and knight h6. Because if you take with the pawn, then the f6 knight is hanging. So all in all, you will realize that after rook a f1, there is so much pressure down to the f6 knight because of knight g7 and knight h6 moves in the air, that Nihal is kind of stuck. What to do? Even if you play like queen g4, it does not alleviate the pressure, because after take, now the next plan can be just to take on d6. So even the d6 pawn is weak. So with low time, which is 2 minutes 28 seconds, and with all the pieces messed up, I think Nihal Sarin is, if he saves this game, that will be a big result. For now, it seems like he is not able to. Lasya Tuma Pudi, thank you for your congratulations. Any updates on the giveaway? Well, I've been going through the comments and I want to do it personally, so it's taking time. Otherwise, I could have told someone from the team to check it out and it might have happened faster. But I want to do it on my own. I want to read through all the comments. Queen h5 played, but all the giveaways will be done. 100 giveaways, so don't worry. Yes, they play Armageddon if it ends 2-2. Yes, Deepak Das, anyone can come to Chessbase India Chess Club on Saturday, where I will be there. Please do come. Lot of exciting stuff happening there. And we soon want to start tournaments there and a lot of different things. So Queen h5 has been played, and you might be wondering, why is the engine so much in white's favor? That's because after I take, now two moves. One is rook h3, very simple move. Now the knight does not have any squares to go. The knight is attacked. You have to retreat. Once you retreat, there are all sorts of tricks, and I think the best one is knight takes h6. But actually, the way in which uh, Mamedov has played, let's just see how that has turned. He took on d6, rook a d8, knight b7, rook d3. So Nihal is getting some activity. Knight c3. Okay. Now f7 is weak. Knight c5 is a threat, and a6 is falling. So this endgame also looks very tough. Very tough for Nihal. If he saves this game, it will be a Houdini-like act. You know, for all those who are not aware of Houdini, he was a magician, and um, he used to do some sort of acts which were unthinkable. And so now when someone saves a very difficult position, you say that, oh, he pulled a Houdini, which means he did something which no one could imagine. So can Nihal pull a Houdini here? Knight f6. Fire escape mainly. Double game. Escape magic. Chat knows everything, yeah. So I generally, when I say something which I'm not 100% knowing, I know chat will add to my knowledge. Okay, knight f6, knight c5, rook d2, rook f2 played. So what Rauf has realized is that he doesn't have to do anything special. Firstly, he is a pawn up. Secondly, this is a weakness. Can we go rook d8? No, then a6 would have hung. So Nihal took here. He took with the king. Okay, interesting. a5 played. Rook d1, taking the open file. Rook b8. You know, one of the things that I have seen with these youngsters is that they never give up. They keep fighting on and on, on and on. And even though the engines are shouting, "Bhai, resign kar, you are losing, you are losing." They are like, "No, we'll continue playing, we'll keep fighting, we'll keep fighting." Okay, one idea that Nihal is actually looking for, I think, is knight f8, knight e6, and trade this so that the b3 pawn can be attacked. But I think what Rauf is going to do is he's just going to come to d6. And you will see that Nihal's time management has been so bad that he's left with just 20 seconds. So he goes knight f8. Okay. And opponent has 6 minutes 52 seconds. Can Rauf go king d2, knight e6, knight e6, fe6, and king c2? Just defending here and keeping all the active possibilities open. That is one way to go, but maybe not the best. Rook d6, such a nice move. Such a nice move by Mamedov. And while Nihal now comes to e6 and is offering a trade, Mamedov says, I want my knight on c5. This is my pride. And Nihal, now tricky with his knights, goes to g5. With two knights, he's going to play for all sorts of tricks. And Mamedov has to be careful. Let's say, for example, he goes king d3 to defend here. Seems like a decent idea. I think he might do it. He might do it. King d3. Maybe. But you see, now this is going to get really tricky. And I feel that Nihal is the most difficult opponent to face in such situations. But 6 minutes is a lot of time. You know, if Mamedov was down to like a minute or 30 seconds, Nihal would have had realistic chances to save it. But with 6 minutes, this position is tough. Yes, he goes rook c6 and now knight e4. I mean, Nihal will take this pawn. Come on, come on, come on, Nihal, you don't have time. Play, 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 play. Yes, he takes on e4, takes on e4. Okay. It's an increment. 15 plus 2, 2-second increment per move, guys. Knight takes e4, played. And now knight takes e4, knight takes e4. Okay, what happened here? He took and played knight b6. Nihal plays f5. You know, the engines say this is +4 for white. I really am questioning this evaluation. How is it +4, guys? It's just 1 pawn down. He's just 1 pawn down. But I think you can think about it this way. 1 pawn, so +4 means 4 pawns down, correct? So 1 for the pawn, which is missing. 2 for the fact that you are not at all active with your rook. 3 for the fact that the white king is active. And I think these are the ways in which it is analyzed. While the b4 is played, takes. Maybe a better move was a4 with the idea of a5, a6, a7. But now look at this, guys. Nihal might be coming back in the game. Rook b7, h3, rook b8. Nihal waiting. He's like, why wait karte hai? We'll see what does Rauf do now. So b5, Nihal rushes to the d file. He wants to get in here, but an excellent move, knight c4, stops here. Rook d5, attacking the b5 pawn. b6, rook b5. Good move. Okay, you are here, keeping an eye here, keeping an eye here. The b pawn will either die or it will just be the hero of the position. King d3 played. Okay. Knight f2 by Nihal Sarin. Check. King c2. And he pushes the pawn to f4. Okay, takes. Now Nihal is saying that I have an extra pawn here. So I want to push. But, you know, to create a passer is going to take years and years. It's going to take ages. Well, knight d6 was a nice move. But he goes rook c7. Knight e4. b7. Okay. Final frontier left for the pawn to queen. Final frontier. So he goes b7, rook b4, b3. Guys, Nihal Sarin has just lost this game, I think. And I mean, he was completely fine. But from that, he's lost it. Which means that now he will have to go into an Armageddon. h5, king a3. Okay. King wants to come in. Slowly. Can you not go king a4? What is the problem? Oh, Nihal Sarin. Man, this is what these are the tricks. You know, these are the tricks. So h4, b4. Okay. f3, gf. Knight c3. Knight d6. I think Rauf played it very well. He didn't give any chance. Now, okay, Nihal lost because knight is hanging. Next move rook c8 and make a queen. So Nihal resigns and the match is now tied at 2-2. What a comeback by Rauf Mamedov. Amazing. Which means that we are going into an Armageddon. Now, let me tell you about the format of the Armageddon. So white is going to get 15 minutes. That's a given. That's not going to change. Both the players, generally they say that in Armageddon, people prefer black. Because in black, you have the draw odds. Because if you draw the game, you won the match. So now, both players will bid for black time. Okay. By the way, who's the higher rated player amongst the two? I think it's Nihal. So if they bid same, like if Nihal says 14, Mamedov also says 14, then Nihal gets black. Okay. So what do you think they will bid on is the question. What if the players want to play with white? Then they can just say 15 minutes with black, and then they will lose the bid anyway. And then they will play with white. 10, I think maybe Nihal might go for 10. Mamedov is the higher rated, huh? Kaushal Kumar? I don't know. What is bid? No, just bid is nothing but saying that I want to play with this many minutes. 14 minutes. I want to play with 30. I think because this is the first match, they won't risk it so much with, going down with black time. They might say something like 13 minutes might be the max. Meanwhile, Ding Lijian won his game here, and it was looking very promising for him anyway. So he did win. Good fight by Le Tuan Min. So that was a good fight by him. Kramnik just destroyed Rant Melkumian in 3 games. Complete. Nihal might ask for 30 seconds. No, there will be no increment, by the way. That is a point to remember. I think Armageddon, there is never an increment. Tomorrow is Vishy Anand at 4:30. Then we will have very soon Generations Cup coming up. This tournament will go on for 4 more days, I think, for the first round. Then again, the next round will be in October. I think you can also go for lesser, like you can say 13 minutes, 30 seconds, I think. Let me just update here saying Rauf Mamedov, Nihal Sarin 2-2. Time for Armageddon. Okay. Why are Prag and Gukesh not there? I think Prag is playing in Champions Chess Tour, so he did not, I think, try to qualify here. He's very playing all the events there. And for Gukesh, I think, as he has said on numerous occasions already, classical chess is the main thing for him. And so he's trying to just focus. He's going to the Spanish league there. This is not live, yes. I mean, this is not over the board. This is online. Ayush Bhatnagar says, Sagar, I want to know your thoughts on recent Hans controversy. I'm still undecided about what to say about it. I don't know what to say. What to say, guys? You tell me. what is there to, how can someone tell what has happened here? I mean, all that can be done is speculate, right? Right from the day when Hans gave his interview, like Magnus left, then Hans gave an interview like couple of days later or one day later. That has been the only thing that has been added to this entire thing. After that, there's no update. Yes. So Magnus felt that something is wrong. He left the tournament, which he never does. And that's why it's something to definitely think about why the world champion would do this. And Hans explained to everyone through his interview that he has whatever he felt like he did. He cheated online. He spoke about it. Then he said he never has cheated offline. He also spoke about it. So then what? What is the next thing? Whether he has cheated, not. I mean, what does Magnus know that the world does not know? Is the question. What does he know? Yeah, it will die out slowly, Maharishi Ray. That's what happens with all controversies unless someone puts some fire in it. Like for example, if Magnus says something about it, then yes, but it's very difficult. I think if Magnus had to say something, he would have said it by now. Magnus has to give an official explanation to Ethics Commission, Vignesh. Is that true? Why? Do you think Ethics Commission, did Hans make a complaint or something? Formal complaint? LJ says, Sagar, you are increasing my curiosity now about this controversy. I think the most number of interviews of Hans or most number of games plus interview of Hans are on Chessbase India. We have followed him in the past. We have done interviews with him. We have games that are there online. I mean, I was always impressed by his ability to be brave, to take risks, big risk taker. Some games you will see him just, you know, sort of taking such rash decisions in the game. All of this is very interesting. In fact, my experience, first time I met Hans Niemann was in Mumbai at the World Youth Championship. He was playing under 16. Yeah, he was playing under 16. And I had no idea who Hans Niemann was. I never heard of his name. And he was the top seed there, I think, in under 16. And it was Rakesh Kulkarni, who told me that there is Hans Niemann who watches a lot of Chessbase India videos, and he would be very happy if you interviewed him. And so I was like, wow, this is great. He's the top seed and I should interview him. So I went and I told Hans that you have won your game today. Would you like to do an interview? And Hans was, if you look at that interview, it's titled like the IM the boy who became an IM without a coach. That is the interview. And he gave some amazing analysis of that game, all blindfolded. He was talking and we spoke a lot. I asked him whether he follows Chessbase India and he said, yes, I do. It was a wonderful interview. After that, he somehow, I mean, at 16, when you are 24-40 or 24-30, yes, you are good, but you are not the best, right? And at that point, Pragnananda won the under 18 gold medal in under 18 World Youth, and Prag was around 2620 or something, or something like 2600. So Prag was like 2 years younger to him, 200 elo points more than him. But then Hans Niemann kept winning rating points and he was just moving up. And I naturally was very much looking at him carefully through his games, through his performances, because he followed Chess Base India and he was looking at us, what we were doing. So I was amazed. And that's why when he reached 2600, we also invited him for an interview. If you see, there's a stream with him where he talks about all the efforts that he has taken, and very heartfelt interview that one was. And then I met him at World Championship in Dubai, where he came somewhere on day 2 or maybe day 3, and I think he was going to be sponsored by the Play Magnus group or the Chessable group, I don't remember. And so I said that, would you like to just give a glimpse of what is happening on round 1? By the way, the game has not started yet, so I'm waiting for it. And he said, yeah, let me show you the game, what has happened. And he analyzes this opening, which is like the Rui Lopez anti-Marshall. He gives great analysis of it. By the way, game has begun. What's the time like? I'm very interested. Rauf has white. Nihal took the black. Nihal risked it. But how much risk has Nihal taken for the black pieces? That is the question. How many minutes less does Nihal have? 2 minutes? My guess is 13. What do you think, guys? 13? 11? Oh, 11. 11 minutes. My God. 4 minutes less. And I think Nihal is just saying that, oh, jo middle game mein I take one big think. I'm just doing away with it. I'll just. Oh, so many moves happened out of. So 11 minutes. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, bishop B5, A6, bishop A4, knight F6, and he goes queen E2. So this is like a Rauf Mamedov style. Yeah, he will play these offbeat lines like queen E2. He had played knight C3 last time. B5, bishop B3, bishop C5 by Nihal, C3, D6, D3, H6, stopping bishop at G5, knight D2, bishop E6, H3, bishop B6, knight F1, knight E7. Okay, why is he not castling? Can anyone tell me why is castling a bad move here? Should be bad, huh? Like bishop B6, knight F1 castle. Why is this not a good idea? I guess it may not be a good idea, but could be a good idea. Yes. The point is not bishop takes E6, because then I just take back. But no, not he cannot sack a bishop, Sahil. It's not clear that he can sack a bishop. But what he can do is he can do G4. And then his idea could be to go G5. And maybe that is the reason why both sides are not castling so quickly. Yes, Disha, Aryan, Dhanda, exactly. So knight E7 played here, G4, knight G6, knight G3. Sagar stuck. Okay. Knight G3, Queen D7. Knight F5. Ooh, Rook G8. I think Nihal's got a bit tensed out. Like he's bit worried. He could have castled, but he doesn't want to, because then this G5 business, bishop here, H6 weakness. So Rook G8, Bishop E3, Knight E7. And looks bad, yeah, looks bad. Nihal Sarin is ready to take on this doubled pawns here. But if you think about it, white has just the most perfect position on the board. It's just amazing. Nihal is just in a, I would say, a very difficult situation. Maybe he should have taken and then played knight e7. But by doing this, he is ready to expose his position here with bishop b6. And look at this. Take, queen e3. Not bad, not bad. Okay, now what Nihal should try and do? He goes queen c7. He could have played knight f5, gf, bishop b3, ab3, and now queen c7. By exchanging a few pieces, he would have limited his disadvantage in the position. But he's gone direct queen c7, and now d4 played by Mamedov. Getting very stressful here for Nihal. I think you don't want this knight to live. You want to take this. I think you want to take on f5. You want to take on b3. That's one. Or you want to take on f5 with the bishop. What is it that Nihal chooses here is going to be very critical for his match. And seriously speaking, Nihal, if he manages to win this, he is one of the strongest players, in this format. But he needs to win this match. He's just out of the tournament. Okay, he takes on b3, then takes on f5. Okay, now I think he must take with the e pawn, because if you play with the g pawn, then the e5 pawn is not weak anymore. But if you take with the e pawn, now you are threatening to win a pawn here with attackers. So I think he will take with the e pawn. What do you think, guys? Knight f5, e takes is my thought. What do you think? Yes, there's no increment, guys. No increment. Just this last game with Nihal having 7 minutes, Rauf Mamedov having 12 minutes. Nihal actually bid for 11 minutes. Does anyone know what Rauf Mamedov bid for instead of 11? Sometimes after move 60 there is an increment, but I believe in this format there is no increment after 60 moves as well. He bid for 12, 13. Oh, I like Nihal's move. E4, good move. Nihal has pushed his pawn to e4. Knight d2, d5. Come on, he has to open it, right? f3. Will he do f3? No, f3. There is queen g3 check. I think Nihal's position looks under control. If would have been very much under control if his rook was on h8 and he could castle. But with his rook on g8, king is like, koi hamdam na raha, koi sahara. Because he wanted to go long castle, a6 is hanging. He wants to go here, cannot do it. हम किसी के ना रहे, कोई हमारा ना रहा. Short castle done. Now black. Nihal, what does he do? Where does the king go? I think one way is to go tuck, 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 tuck with your king. Kinjal Datta Chaudhary says Benadryl Pilo Sagar. Hey, my big worry is c4 break, because once you play c4, the center just blasts open, and then the king on e8 is like, bachao, where should I go? Yes, h5 is possible, but I mean, does it solve anything? h5 g5, and the main issue for Nihal is that there is no increment. Nihal, you have to finish off the game in 6 minutes. So if you come down to a minute, you can't really then save yourself. Why not castle? Earth gada. Earth, if you castle, then just this is hanging, no, a6. Aradhya Bansal says, what do you mean by bidding, Sagar? Why? There is a new process that has been made in this event, where if the scores are 2-2, then they will do this bidding. And in that bidding, what will happen is that both players will say that I want black and I bid X minutes for it. Like I want 11 minutes, I want 12 minutes. Whoever bids lower, like lower time, someone says 10, he will get black. Because it is said that black has an advantage in Armageddon. That's what they are trying here. I like this new idea. Very good idea by chess.com. Very nice. Cubist Geo Deepak says, if h5 more attacking chances for Nihal, but where are your pieces? And what about g5 then? Where do you get your attack? The knight cannot just go there. So a5, yeah, possible. a5 and then long castle, but I think what will eventually Nihal has to find is this very interesting idea of going king g8. Sorry, king e7. Why is this move nice? Is because you bring your rook to e8 and then put your king in like a manual castling. So you can't go f3 because of queen g3. So let's say you go king g2, then I go rook g8, rook g8, f3. I'm already in time for king f8. So this was, I think, a very smart idea. But instead, Nihal goes king f8. This move does not really, king is saying jaga hai to the rook. Rook is like jaga nahi hai. Like jaga hai. Kahan jaga hai? Where to go? c4 was played. Maybe he could have prepared c4 with rook c1. But okay, c4 takes. Nihal takes here, and I think we'll play knight e4. And the main point is there's also a check here from the side that is coming. Okay, knight e4. Bad position for Nihal Sarin, for sure. This is getting very dangerous. And now you will see that this rook on g8 is very upset with what the king has done. And I think Nihal had really this chance, king e7 here, with rook e8 and king f8. But it's king f8. And now you may want to play rook e8. But then as we saw that there is this check here. And then you may want to play queen e7. And then there is knight d6. Attacking this rook. Rook d8. Knight c4. And Nihal has only 3 minutes 37 seconds. Nihal, you need to move. Move. Because if you don't move, you will have only 3 minutes 30 seconds left for the rest of your game. Come on. I mean, Nihal getting knocked out of this tournament will be a big upset. Although the rating is pretty similar for Mamedov and Nihal, it might be a big upset. Okay, he takes on e4, queen takes e4, gets his rook, queen f3. And now see guys, firstly Nihal Sarin, a6 pawn was hanging, so he saved it with a5. Rook f1. Very simple. The football theorem in action. Black has two players playing. This is injured player here. This rook. White has three players playing. So white is saying, I will exchange one active player for the other active player. Nihal is like, nahi, no exchange. I want to play rook e4. White is like, I'm getting other player into this. This guy is saying, bhai, mere ko khelna hai. I want to play. Get me out here. I want to get into the field. But this king is in between. How to get rid of the king? G5. Nihal is like, give me space. I want to go here. Interesting move. At least he's trying to solve a problem. You know? Maybe it may not work. Like rook e1, king g7, rook e7. You don't have time. Yeah. Oh, en passant might not be a good idea because en passant then just rook g6 and the rook comes into the game. This is exactly what black is hoping for. That by en passant kar le, yahan pe, do the en passant, let my rook come into the game. That is exactly what black wants. Two minutes 38 seconds for Nihal, no increment. That is roughly around 150 seconds that he has. He has to finish off this game while Rauf, using his time very wisely, has 8 minutes 38 seconds. A few moves have been played. Rook e1, queen d6 and now queen c3. Now Nihal has to go anyway king g7. I mean, he's preparing that if you put your king, my queen is there like a sniper. I'll push d5. But don't be afraid. Let him push. You can put your queen in between. Because remember, at the end of the day, you have the draw odds. So even if you lose a pawn, this endgame could be something that you can hold on to. So what happened? After queen d6, queen c3, king g7 was played by Nihal Sarin. Queen c4 played and Nihal goes rook c8. So Nihal is back in this game, but he has only 2 minutes 8 seconds. Guys, Nihal has to play out of his skin here if he has any chances to hold this. Because firstly, he's a pawn down. Secondly, he has just 2 minutes 8 seconds left without any increment. But if there's someone in the world who can do that, it is Nihal Sarin. He has proven again and again that he is an absolute beast when it comes to speed chess. He can actually play games with just 10 seconds left on the clock. And here, quickly making the move rook d8 in 3 seconds. Okay. Nihal is back in the game. Now his bigger problem is not the position, but his time. Because as we were discussing, this rook, which was not playing, is now playing. And by the way, rook c1 check, let's go in. But see, he's taking his time. He doesn't have time. He played pretty quickly, by the way, queen f6. He didn't use too much time. But there was another very cool move here, king g2 and now queen d5. Because if queen b6, there is rook e8, putting pressure here. There's no increment. So guys, all those who are joining in, this is the final game. Nihal Sarin is black, Rauf Mamedov is white. Whoever wins this moves forward, but draw is also fine for Nihal because this is the Armageddon. He started with 11 minutes. Rauf Mamedov had 15 minutes. So that's why Nihal draw is okay. He has the draw odds. But remember, he has no increment. Queen e5. Rauf Mamedov says, I want to exchange the queens. Nihal should not take this, because if he takes it, it helps white improve his structure. All his pawns get together. Right now, this pawn is lonely and isolated on d4. So maybe a good idea for Nihal is not to take and play rook c4, which he does, which he plays rook c4. Good move by Nihal Sarin, putting pressure from behind. Because now the threat is to take. You might think that there are two defenses already, but there are actually not two attacks, but three attacks on the d4 square. So rook takes d4 is a big threat. I think Nihal Sarin has this game under control now. The only question is whether he can actually make all the moves in 1 minute 56 seconds. What do you think, guys? What is your opinion here in the chat, guys? Draw or white wins? What do you think? Enough time for Nihal, says Maharishi Ray. Vinayak Agarwal says yes, Nihal will hold. So queen exchange and rook e7 played. Okay, that's a pawn. Come on, let's take the pawn. Everyone is like, easy for Nihal. Easy for Nihal. Guys, oh, I'm not as confident as all of you. I feel the pressure of the tournament is quite high. Okay, look at this. He went rook b4, rook e7. He went rook f8. He went back. And now Nihal can actually come out again. But he has now 1 minute 30 seconds. He plays h5. Look at Mamedov's strategy. He's like, I will make Nihal bleed on time. But Nihal is now better with h4. He's actually better. He takes, and maybe go rook h8. I have a feeling that Nihal may be facing big problems with time. So what happened? He went take, rook d8, king g2, rook b3. One minute 50 seconds for Nihal. Rauf Mamedov has to think of something, because the moment he comes down to e7, b2 pawn is hanging with a check. He plays rook e7, rook b2, take the pawn with a check. Of course, Nihal will take it. But I think what Mamedov is doing, and he's very smart about it, is the fact that he thinks that, okay, rook f8, that he can actually beat Nihal on time. That's the main point of Mamedov's play. Now b5. Let's go b5. I don't think Nihal has taken so much time. Oh, he has taken, really he's taken. Guys, he had 1 hour, 1 minute 4 seconds, and he played this with 53. I don't think this is very easy for Nihal now. Why did Nihal not play? Oh, why did Nihal not play b5? Maybe because of this check. Maybe he was afraid of this check. I don't know. He goes here, rook d7. See, smart move again by Mamedov. Asking Nihal, khelo. Again, Nihal down to 35 seconds. This is over, yeah? He's making him lose 10 seconds per move. And the problem is, Nihal is not in his bullet mode. He's in this sort of rapid mode. And that's the reason why he's not able to make his moves quickly. If this time is true, what we are seeing here, then Nihal is bound to lose this game. Because he has only 21 seconds left. Unless he manages to find some kind of an activity this way. Oh, that seems like an interest. By the way, Nihal is winning now completely. After rook b7, rook c8, rook c2. Actually, it's a mate here with rook g2 and rook h2. Like this rook swinging over, it's a mate, but in 20 seconds. No increment, guys. No increment. And if he plays f4, rook c3 mate. So actually, this is actually a gone position. Rook h6, rook c1 played by Nihal. 16 seconds on the clock. Can Nihal just draw the game? He needs a draw. What happened? One second. Rook h2, take, check, takes, rook b1. Okay, Nihal is completely winning. 15 seconds. Nihal can do this. Come on, Nihal. You have pawns. Push it. Okay, f4, he takes. g5, 13 seconds. a3. Pawn is queening. I'm getting super stressed here, guys. Nihal goes rook g. Why is Nihal going rook g8? 8 seconds on the clock. Oh, so many moves happened. With 7 seconds, look at Nihal. He's not even spent a second and he's made like 5 moves. 4 seconds left. Nihal making a queen. Nihal is making a queen. Check, rook b3, make a queen. Is he on 0 seconds? No, I hope he's not lost on time. Won! Nihal Sarin has won. Nihal Sarin wins with 4 seconds on the clock. Check, queen. Check. Bye, mate ho gaya. Man, Nihal Sarin took us to the edge of the cliff, was going to push us from there, and then eventually said, guys, don't worry, I have it under control. Wins it. With just 4 seconds left. He made it. Man, I thought it was impossible the way he was playing, but Nihal, I guess, was confident. The way he won it with 4 seconds left at the end, just impeccable. With this, Nihal Sarin wins the first round of the Global Chess Championship by chess.com and is now into the round of 32, where he will face the former world champion Vladimir Kramnik. क्या ही मजा आएगा. Vladimir Kramnik versus Nihal Sarin. Ah. People are saying heart attack आते आते बच गया. Mamedov is so disappointed with his loss, says D. Sandeep. Okay. Satwik Manocha says, Sagar sir, my term 1 exam starts tomorrow and I have 4 chapters left. Motivate me, please. Satwik Manocha, what more do you want? Nihal Sarin won this game with 20 seconds left. If Nihal would have thought like you, कि अरे भाई 4 chapter बाकी है, he would have lost this game. But he said, तो क्या हुआ? पूरी रात तो बाकी है, 20 seconds बाकी है. I will win this. And that's what he did. He just played all the moves quickly. Queen. Check, and mate. This is all that you need. Nihal Express. Okay. So tomorrow, guys, I'll see you at 4:30 for Anand versus Pankratov and Raunak Sadhwani versus Topalov. क्या ही मैच. मजेदार. Will be great. Aditya says, how many moves did Nihal make in last 30 seconds? I think, yeah, as you can see here, Nihal had this many. He had 49 moves when he had 30 seconds. He made 26 moves in 35 seconds. Actually, not 35, in 31 seconds. Akib Khan says, Nihal once again proved that he is an alien. I think Nihal is just very good with this at the end, with his mouse, with his ability to make pre-moves, with his ability to guess what his opponent will do. He's very good. And I was, though, for sure, like if I was black, I would have lost it. There's no doubt. I mean, I couldn't have handled the nerves, I would have gotten so nervous. But Nihal, been there, done that, manages to do it. Okay. I guess we could call Nihal. That is possible. But maybe let's call him later, yeah? We'll end the stream. We'll call him if he beats Kramnik. Today was just too nervy. And guys, see you all tomorrow. I think there's one stream with Tanya tonight, so I'll also see you there at 9 o'clock, I guess. But for now, take care. Bye bye. Good night. And thank you for following this. And we had a good time today together.